The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
The latest on the New York Jets, including reports about teams calling about Breece Hall, Jermaine Johnson, Quincy Williams, among others, and of course, Garrett Wilson missing a couple of weeks. We'll get to all that and more. Robby Sabo will join us. It's the Jake Asman Show, and it starts right now.
Justice numbers are not good from this game. Is he going to be your quarterback next week, or would you consider?
What kind of question is that?
How much worse can it get for Aaron Glenn's Jets team? Can he salvage this season and give us something to be excited about? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Little announcement before we bring on today's guest. I will be in attendance at the Jets-Panthers game Sunday. We'll be tailgating with Tailgate Joe and Lot E26. So come on down, stop by if you want to say hello. If you want to join us at the tailgate, you see the info there on your screen, how you can get a discounted Asmaniac group tailgate rate. Just reach out to my guy, Nick Shine, who's organizing it for us, and you will be all set. If anyone is not going to the game but has extra tickets, I do have a bunch of listeners that are trying to go, people trying to take a family member, a young kid who's maybe never been. So if you're disgusted with the Jets, I don't blame you. But if you have tickets that you want to donate to your fellow listener, you can reach out to me and I will make sure they go to people who can actually use them and support the Jets on Sunday. With that said, let's say hello to our guy, Robby Sabo, the co-founder of JetX, jetsxfactor.com. Mr. Sabo, you're dressed in all black, which kind of tells me you're sending a message about how the Jet season is dead, and it's long been dead, and now they're 0-6.
It's another day in the neighborhood. Jake, how's everybody feeling? What's the tone yesterday and today?
You know, the tone is what you would expect. I saw a great tweet from Tyson Rauch, who does a great job on his YouTube channel. Let's Talk Jets. He goes, a yearly October tradition, Jets fans arguing over the reasons why the team sucks. And I don't think there's a better way to sum up how we're all feeling right now as this team loses in London. They're 0-6. We get news yesterday that Garrett Wilson, because Justin Fields threw a hospital ball to him at the end of the game on Sunday, he hyperextends his knee. And according to Adam Schefter, he could miss a couple of weeks. I think with the schedule being what it is, home game against Carolina, road game against the Cincinnati Bengals the following week, and then the bye, I would not expect to see Garrett Wilson until after that bye week when the Jets play the Browns at home.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, at least, he's getting all the targets, right? If it's, look, I truly don't know what the riff was between Garrett and Rodgers or Woody and Rodgers and all that stuff. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's not. But the point in my mind is the fact that there's been so much noise out there in terms of items, interpersonal struggling things, items that this team has had to deal with, in which personnel moves have been made not based on just winning games alone. That concerns me. And I love Garrett's talent. I love him as a competitor. I raved about him coming into the league. I would take him over Drake London every day of the week. He hasn't missed a game yet in his career yet. The previous quarterback, if he's making that throw, Garrett Wilson's not injured right now, period. So listen, we'll see. We'll see. I'm interested to see what the Jets organization does moving forward. They have to change their mindset and get with the times. And that means understanding what the league is about. For everyone who watched the game last night, Ben Johnson put on a masterclass in play calling to close that game, kept the defense off guard, ran zone pitches to extend the defense laterally east-west, only for the running back to cut it up so he stays in bounds. Took a shot, naked boot, play action on first down around the 40, 38-yard line. Defense did a great job, but guess what Caleb Williams does? Slide in bounds no gain. It's because the offensive play caller knows what he's doing, leads the way. The offense is easiest to manipulate with these rules, and he's constantly chirping in the headset to his quarterback. Slide, do this, do that, do this, do that. So far, I'm not seeing that from the guys on the Jets sideline with the headset. I'm not seeing that communication, and that means they're just not the strategist ilk so far.
You look at the wide receiver room. I mean, outside of Garrett Wilson, and we knew this coming in, there is no one that is established, no one that you could rely on. And I don't know how they're going to be able to score points now in these games. We know they're sticking with Fields for another game. I mean, the offense was obviously bad with him on Sunday. He was historically bad, finishing 9 of 17 for 45 yards, -10 net passing, right? Sacked 9 times. That was with Garrett Wilson. Now, you don't have Garrett Wilson. So what is this passing attack going to look like, Robbie, without Wilson for seemingly at least these next 2 games here?
I mean, it's not going to be pretty. Arian Smith's going to have to put his big boy boots on and, route run to his best abilities. Mason Taylor's going to have to get really involved. They're going to have to run the ball, and there's a case to be made. I mean, is Tyrod Taylor the best of the 2 quarterbacks from a pocket traditional standpoint? Yeah, 100%. But this actually, the receiver room is so rough that a case could easily be made. Fields is the better option because you just want to pound the ball. You want to do what you can on the ground. So it's not going to be pretty, but it's no, first and foremost is the message, is the game planning message, what is priority from the head coach, the communication on the mic to the quarterback, and who the quarterback is, if he's afraid to make mistakes or not. And after that is Garrett's absence. I mean, it's a big deal missing Garrett, but those things are first. And if they could actually turn those things around, they could have some potential for success, but still the receiving room doesn't look good.
I mean, you want to do a little trivia here?
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson currently leads the New York Jets in receptions with 36. Who on the Jets is number 2 and number 3 in receptions this season?
Jeez. Yeah, I could probably give you better answers about the 1988 season than 2025 right now.
I'll tell you, Mason Taylor second on the team with 21 receptions. Breece Hall is third on the team with 17 receptions. By the way, Sunday was the first game in Breece's career he didn't get at least 1 target, which is a terrible job by Tanner Engstrand for not getting something going to Breece Hall. But you got to go all the way down here to number 4 on the list of Jets receivers to actually get a wide receiver to make the top 4. Josh Reynolds, 8 receptions on the year. After that, Tyler Johnson with 4. So if you just look at the receiver position, Garrett, 36 catches on the season. The next closest wide receiver on the team is Reynolds with 8. That is where we're at right now. They have no one you could rely on. You're going to need a lot from Mason Taylor. You're going to need a lot from Breece Hall to have any chance to make something happen outside the numbers in the passing attack. I don't see how they're going to really be able to effectively move the ball. And we knew this was a problem going into the year. How many times did I say with you or anyone on the show, the wide receiver room is lacking another player? God forbid Garrett rolls an ankle and has to miss a couple games. What are the Jets going to do? Well, it's not an ankle, it's a knee, but he's going to miss at least 2 games here. And I guess at 0-6, people are going to say, whatever, who cares, lose games. But still, if you're Aaron Glenn trying to build your culture and establish what you're trying to do, you got to win games. And without Garrett Wilson these next 2 games, it's certainly a lot harder to do that.
Yeah, Glenn said it the other day in the presser. He mentioned Woody knows what he's trying to do, build a foundation. And, it's not instant coffee. He's trying to get that done. What does that mean, build a foundation? What does it mean if winning games, doing everything you can, making moves to win games is not of the utmost priority? I don't understand. You got to win games. And you were screaming about the receiver room. Fair. I kept saying, listen, this is not the way they're viewing it. I kept saying, this is not the way they're viewing it. They're going to rotate the other receivers. They want them for blocking. They're going to play a lot of 12 personnel, which I think has been a mistake. They should open it up. I don't care if your receiver room is weak. Open it up. Go spread 2x2. Go trips. Go 3x1. Put Breece out there. Put a tight end out there. If you open it up, you give Fields more room. You give the offensive line more room to run the ball. So I want to see that from Engstrand. And in terms of Engstrand's overall job, it's tough to crucify him. Like I cannot. It's kind of similar to LaFleur to me in the early days. Because it is very difficult hiding the offensive line, other than the complete morons who are saying on Twitter that the Jets offensive line is terrible and Hyden's doing a bad job with pass pro, who are just, doing Fields' dirty laundry. I think the offensive line and Hyden have done a good job this year. Engstrand, I'm still trying to sort out. I'm still trying to figure out that there's been circumstances that he just can't overcome. I'm not going to say he's done a great job. But that's one of the things. I want to see a more spread open look. I mean, I don't care if it's transparent. Go open and let there be more room on the inside for Fields and the zone read to run.
I think that's a good strategy, especially in this game coming up. This meme, if you will, is making the rounds on social media, Robbie. We are back in dark times again. Remember the Jets played a game against the Bears, and this was their receiver room in that game. Jermaine Kearse, Andre Roberts, Rashard Matthews, Deontay Burnett.
Burnett got some playing time, man, back then.
This is what Sam Darnold was dealing with, right? This is another example of the Jets completely failing their young quarterback, and why, and we'll get into this, I'm sure, in our conversation, why if it keeps headed this way and the Jets are sitting there with the worst record in the league, and they're picking number one, I do not want this regime back. But here's the modernized version of that graphic. Reynolds, 8 catches all year. Arian Smith, 4. Johnson, 4. Lazard, 4. Brandon Smith, 0. This is what we're going to be looking at on Sunday. This is courtesy of Badlands having fun with the infamous Jets wide receiver meme. It's bad, man. And, I think some of the draft picks that Muji has made, it looks pretty good. Some of the trades he's made, like Brownlee, the most recent example, and certainly the Phillips and Briggs trade have been good. Neglecting wide receiver the way they have, it was a mistake all offseason, all summer, and it's going to cost them now because I just don't see how they can win these 2 games without Garrett Wilson. And think about how crazy it is, right? FanDuel Sportsbook, our presenting sponsor, the Jets, they opened up as a 1.5-point favorite somehow at home. When news spread of Garrett Wilson being out for this game, the line moved from 1.5 Jets being favorites to Carolina 1.5 being favorites. Think about that. That is a huge point swing for a receiver. That's quarterback movement if a point spread's going to move that much. That's how valuable Garrett is to this offense because they just don't have anyone else.
100% true. And also think about this. Dave Canales, what a punchline he was when the Panthers hired him, right? Who is this guy? What a joke. Leader. Blah, he's awful. He's got the Panthers at 3-3 right now. And he's yet another example of an offensive play caller who's a strategist. He's not a punching bag and laughingstock anymore. I'm not saying the Panthers are definitely going to the playoffs or doing special things this year in the NFC, but again, my mind always goes to the root issue, and the root issue, it's so fundamental. And for the Jets organization, for Jets fans, I know it's tough to identify because it's the last time the Jets were good, it was a completely different sport. It was actual football that we could identify so much more so than what we see today. It's completely turned on its head. It's not football as we knew it. It is different, wholly different. And until the Jets understand that, nothing's going to change. That's until we fix that. And until there's actual realization there, we're just going round and round in circles.
Oh, the pain never ends. By the way, just to make matters worse, here's the AFC East standings. Here are the New England Patriots after the Bills losing last night. Once again in first place, 4-2 with their first-year coach, Mike Vrabel. Just unbelievable. I mean, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Jets in the basement of the division. You got the Patriots back in first place. I mean, just think about how bad the Jets have been during all this, Robbie. So they move on from Brady. They make the playoffs one more time with Belichick 2 seasons after that. Then they bottom out with Bill. They're even worse for a year with Mayo. Kraft shows some balls and fires a franchise legend in Gerard Mayo to get a proven commodity
Right.
in Mike Vrabel. And here they are immediately in position to make the playoffs this year. They've already matched their win total from last year. The more things change, the more they stay the same for the Jets.
Vrabel, he knows what he's doing. He understands this league, and better yet, he hired an offensive coordinator who knows what he's doing in McDaniels. It's not that simple. Obviously, I was going to say that, but it's not that simple. You need to have personnel. You need to have a quarterback. But I think that's what makes everything else possible. We'll see. It's nightmare again for Jets fans, and I don't know what else to say at this point.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Why don't we do something good for the community today, Mr. Sabo? Today is Tuesday, which means we're going to have our weekly Asmaniac raffle. And since the Jets still don't have a win, let's give people a chance during today's stream to enter for the 3 prizes I'll give away at the end of the show. Prize 1 is a signed Bart Scott signed jersey. I think that's redundant. I said signed twice. Signed Bart Scott jersey that says can't wait in the signature there. A signed Sauce Gardner jersey. And a little poor timing on this one, I admit, but it is the prize of all prizes, a signed Justin Fields jersey. So if you want a chance to win any of these 3 prizes, you could gift a membership or send in a $10 super chat or higher to qualify. Black Gypsy gifted a membership, meaning he is in the raffle for 1. We also have a 5 spot from Bucks Fanatic 06, who enters the raffle for 5 entries as well. Bucks Fanatic, thank you. This is for you.
We are mama way.
We also have the Austrian Jet fan checking in. He just gifted 5 channel memberships. Oh, yeah.
Show me the money. Show me the money!
Money.
Thank you to Austrian Jet fans. So send in your gifted memberships. We'll count them up and add you to everyone who's contributed this week and give away those prizes at the end of the show. The next order of business, Mr. Sabo, is to talk about a perhaps cryptic Instagram post from Breece Hall. We've reached that part of the year where players now take the social media to either request a trade or voice their displeasure. That's what happens when you're 0-6. And here's Breece Hall on Instagram yesterday with a caption that includes the hashtag #free20. So people are speculating that this is Breece Hall saying he wants out. Give us your take on Breece. Do you think the Jets are ultimately going to trade him before the trade deadline, which is on November 4th?
I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be a challenge for Muji. It's running back position. You're not going to get the value that his talent warrants. We all know that. So with Braylon Allen hurt, I think that's a major, major thing. Isaiah Davis could play for me anytime. He could play for my team anytime. He's a gamer. He knows the game and he plays the game well. But if I had to guess right now, no, I don't think he will be traded unless something unforeseen happens.
I just don't know how you could trade him right now unless you're getting like a 3rd round pick or something, because if Garrett is out for a couple weeks here and you already don't have Braylon Allen and you're trying to still win games, and Breece has said he doesn't want to be traded, he wants to stay. I mean, can you really trade him if all you're going to get is like a 5th round pick? Like, is that worth it? To me, I'd rather just keep Breece and try and win games with him here. And I don't know. Why do we have to just assume they wouldn't bring back Breece if they could work out some sort of deal to keep him? Look at that. Likely have a rookie quarterback starting for them, if not week 1 next year, early on in the season. Like, having a good running game, a good check down option for that quarterback, to me, is super valuable. They were winning games because of Breece Hall playing as well as he was with Zach Wilson in 2022. If you remember that 6-3 start where Breece was on his way to being the offensive rookie of the year before he tore his ACL.
Yeah, and it could be a completely different situation. I'm not saying Glenn's definitely going to be ousted at the end of the season, but what if the light bulb does flicker on for the Jets and they do hire, a forward-thinking, Joe Brady, a Kingsbury, McCarthy, who wasn't even interviewed, which is a totally different story for another day. That an example of that is something that Breece could go online and watch the tape and say, okay, I could see what this guy thinks. I could see what this guy does. With the Jets' previous guys like Engstrand and LaFleur, no one could do that. they are first-time play callers of a unit, which is by far the most important needle mover in terms of winning games in the NFL, the offense, the offensive play calling. So it could change on a dime. So I'm with you. I would not trade Breece for chunk change. I would just keep him.
I need at least a third if I'm going to do it. Now, Connor Hughes did some
If
reporting
someone offers me a third and I feel good, it's not going to be late third. Yeah, I'd probably do it.
Well, the thing is, they don't have a third this year, too. So that's part of my thinking because
Yeah.
Joe Douglas traded it for Hassan Reddick.
Third, I'm doing it. Yes, I agree.
So Connor Hughes on Twitter yesterday said, Hall, hot name on the NFL's trade circuit. Talked to a half dozen front office sources late last week for SNY. Consensus on his value. 5th round pick, potential 4th if 2 teams compete for him. One GM, when I asked about a third, said, quote, way too rich. An assistant GM on why his value isn't higher. Durability concerns, not consistent, tough yardage, rent a player. Hall's on the final year of a deal. Acquiring team needs to pay him equals drops in value. I get all that. If a team is desperate enough, though, and you can get a third, that's the only way I would move them. I just don't think getting a 5th for Breece is worth it. I mean, a 5th for Breece Hall is Tyler Barron, Jet fans. That's what the Jets did with their 5th round pick this year. They took Tyler Barron, who can't play. He was inactive because he stinks. So, to me, I get it. You want to get draft capital, but I think we all love the idea of getting draft picks. And then when you actually see what some of these guys turn out to be, you realize it's not smart. I would not trade Breece Hall. This is all I can get for him.
Agree. And the quotes there from, what was it, a scout or an executive? I forgot what Hughes said there.
He spoke to an assistant GM on why Breece's value isn't higher.
Assistant GM. He didn't even list the most important reason, which I get it. If you're in the league, you don't want to outright say it to try to not try to injure the guy, but he plays running back. And that's the main reason. If he didn't play running back, it would be better. So, yeah, I agree. I would keep him and see what happens and roll the dice instead of a 5th. It's just not worth it.
Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. They will cut the line. Shout out to Ryan McCarthy, who gifted a membership. We're allowing people to enter our raffle at the end of the show for 3 items today. Bart Scott signed jersey, Sauce Gardner signed jersey, Justin Fields signed jersey, the top prizes. All right, here's the other piece of newsy stuff to hit on with you. It's Jermaine Johnson. Apparently, according to Connor Hughes, again here with this report, Jermaine Johnson is a name that has come up for several teams in need of edge help in trade discussions. It would take, quote, a lot for the Jets to part with Johnson, a team involved in those conversations said. I really would be surprised if this regime traded away Jermaine. As down as I am on this coaching staff and the head coach in particular, I think even he realizes how important Jermaine is for what they're trying to do. I don't think it's a coincidence that the 2 best games the Jets have had defensively are both the games that Jermaine has played the full game in, including this past one where they played legitimately good defense against a good Broncos team. Jermaine was awesome. He set the edge, made plays as a pass rusher, rallied guys. He's a leader out there beyond whatever his stats are for the game. I would not trade him. Obviously, if I get a 1st round pick, I got to reconsider it. They won't get that though. So, to me, I'm not moving Jermaine Johnson. I don't know where you stand on this, but this is the guy that I want here for the long term. I think he's about the right stuff and is a part of the solution term, not a guy you move to continue this rebuild.
So, who said, was it Beningo on your show who said it's not anyone else? Jermaine's the heart of the defense. Was it Beningo?
It could have
Either
been.
way, 100% correct. He's the heart of the defense. So I'm with you on most of that. But I'm more in the gray area on this for one reason and one reason only: availability. And he missed an entire season with an Achilles. He's already missed the chunk of this season. I'm not trading him in season.
He's under contract for next year on the 5th-year option as well.
Correct. And here's how I'd approach Jermaine. I agree with you in terms of what he means to this team. And I don't want to get rid of him. So that means I'm not trading him before the deadline. He's going to be a Jet all year. But I'm not going to be as hard-lined in terms of moving him during the offseason based on availability. If he plays every game the rest of the way and he shows okay, I could be relied upon, then I'm probably keeping him. I'm probably in your camp. So I'm going to, use the rest of the season as sort of a testing ground for availability with him.
Yeah, I don't see how you're making your team better trading away one of the leaders in your team like this. He plays a premium position. He is made of the right stuff. He's your best overall defensive end for his ability to set the edge against the run, make plays as a rusher. Like, I'm keeping him. Obviously, there's some durability concerns. And let's see JJ. Let's see him stay healthy the rest of the year. Like, if he could get through the season, then it's like, okay, he missed a couple games with an ankle. That could happen to anyone. Fine. Then another year removed from the Achilles, playing for a contract in the 5th year. To me, like, he's better than Will McDonald. Will McDonald is a very good pass rusher. He doesn't give you much else other than that. Jermaine gives you both run ability and pass rush ability.
Yeah, totally agree. And Jermaine's much better. He's tremendous. He really is a tremendous player in this league. So I'm with you 100%. I'm just not as gung ho. In other words, let's see what happens the rest of the season.
Couple super chats here, but first let's shout out the Lup Man who delivered a 5-spot of channel memberships for the people.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, man.
He's in our raffle for 5. This super chat is from Joey, who starts us off and says, to me, there's a lot of overreaction. The defense held the Broncos to their worst offensive game. Only 2 penalties. Our receivers were open and the O-line looked solid against the great Broncos defense. See, I understand your point, Joey. I don't think we could say it's an overreaction, though, when the team was 0-5 going into this one, and they're now 0-6. And I think, Robbie, you agree with me. The head coach's decision-making is a gigantic reason why they lost. If this was Glenn's first game and we saw some of that, okay, fine. We can maybe point to some of the positives, or even if it was like his 3rd game and this happened. I think when you get to a point where you're the only team in the league without a win, it's tough to me to look at any sort of real positives when you continue to lose, because now we're in uncharted waters for any first-year Jet coach to be this bad. And I can't look for the positives, man, because this is what bad teams do, right? You finally get the good game from the defense and the special teams, and your offense is downright horrific. Like, you never get everything going at the same time. That is the sign of a bad team. So I can't do the positives or look at the bright side. They're 0-6. And if Glenn wants to establish his culture, as you talked about, Robbie, the only thing that truly matters, can you win football games? And until you do that, I don't want to hear really anything else.
And more torturous is, again, last year, where did they struggle most? The rushing game, offensive line. and I feel like, they turned that into somewhat of a strength this year. So that adds more torture. But yeah, I am with you 100% with Glenn, with the Jets. It's not exactly about 0-6 per se. It's not about the numbers. It's about the root, the root of the head of the snake. Like, when you make a decision to go for it on 4th and 8 instead of kicking a 62-yard field goal, what are you evaluating in real time? Okay, I know Nick Folk is older. It's 4th and 8 with a quarterback who hasn't done anything all day, who has held on to the ball. This year, it's a new rule where special teams are allowed to keep the football, so they're inflating it to high heaven. You're seeing more long field goals than ever, and then you go for it on 4th and 8 instead of a 62-yard field goal. That's just one part of it. The second part of it is in the press conference. What did he say? 65 or 68 yarder? He got the yardage wrong. It's impossible to be wrong and to not know it's a 62-yard field goal. Think about that. That is such a shocking.
He completely exposed himself with his answers after the game. Completely.
If you're the decision maker in this league at this current time, you cannot be wrong. Listen, I'm a lowly, stupid high school coach. It's so easy. 17 yards from where the ball is. You can't be confused about that.
He wasn't even close either, by the way. And also, he said the target line for them was the 35-yard line. Why?
That's the best case.
Right. Like, he's like, that's where we wanted he essentially said Nick Folk's line was to get to the 35, so it would have been like a 52-yard field goal, whatever it was, right?
Garbage. 58. Why? He hit a 58-yarder. Like, the target line is worst case scenario. Target line should never be best case scenario. It should be worst case. So it just tells me in real time the thinking, the processing from the sideline is just not happening. And that is, so when people are saying it's being overblown and pessimistic, no, man. And it goes deeper than just 0-6. It's stuff like that. it is troubling beyond belief.
The way the game ended with the indecision with the 4th and 8 and whether or not to kick or go for it, terrible. The answers afterwards, even worse. Not benching Fields
Yeah, I
at
didn't even
any
get into
point.
that. Yeah.
Terrible. The answer after, where he pushes back on Costello's totally reasonable question about not even benching him in that game, but considering making a change for this upcoming game against the Panthers after a downright historic performance where you had -10 net passing yards. His answer told me, Robbie, he didn't even consider benching Fields during this game with how defiant he was afterwards, thinking the question was somehow unfair. It tells me that Aaron Glenn is not true to what he said he was, right? He said he's not a defensive coach. He says he's a football coach. He coaches the whole team. Any head coach that coaches the whole team would have understood at any point in the second half you needed to pull the plug on Fields, go to Tyrod, who can complete an 8-yard pass, and you win the game. Delusional. And the way the first half ended, I mean, how much more could we say about how inept that was? This was, and Benigno said this, and it's sad, but he would know. He said in his 60 years watching the Jets, that was the worst individual coach game he's ever seen. And I got to be honest, I don't know if anyone could argue with that. It was that bad. And the fact that it happened on a national stage, everyone saw it. Now everyone's aware of just how bad this has been and how specifically bad it was. This is that type of game that starts to now spiral because people saw it, people take notice of it, and the conversations about how bad does this get? Does it lead to a one-and-done scenario, right? These are the conversations that now happen after a game like that.
The Jets have no on-field leadership. Zero. The
head coach is supposed to have that.
Right. It has to translate from the head coach to guys on defense and offense. Now, Sherwood, and I'm actually kind of optimistic in terms of watching the defensive film today. That'll at least keep me alive and not dead, curled up on the floor. But, how a quarterback in the NFL does not take charge in that situation. Bark out orders, let's set up a trio, max protect, leave the tight end, the running back in, and snap it on 3 seconds, throw a Hail Mary, is beyond me. I don't understand. It's mind-boggling, honestly. And if you're a head coach, you're preaching accountability and all that stuff. Maybe you're preaching a little too much. You're not doing the things that really cuts down on the discipline issues. I just keep saying it. It's not the motivational archetype for head coach is dead. It's dead. It's about the strategist, and to cut down on penalties, you have to put your guys in the best position. You have to work deception. You have to work pre-snap games. This is a pre-snap league, offensively and defensively. And, if you go and press with sauce on the outside with single high, guess what? It invites the quarterback to take a vertical shot. Guess what? If you do that on 3rd and 30 or whatever the hell it is, you're putting the decision-making for DPI in the official's hands. You're at the mercy of the official. Every rush play, you're at the mercy of the official. So it's not about discipline. It's about positioning. And, with Fields not replacing him, I think we talked about it last week, Jake. I said I'd go back to Fields, but I'd have, a quick hook. Tyrod would be Mariano Rivera. If you ever needed him for a drive to end the game, where it's a pocket traditional passing type drive, I go to Tyrod. That's all. But, then he's not
like a
doing
starting pitcher that doesn't have it.
Right.
You could still go back to him in the following game.
It makes me think, Glenn, is it hubris? Yes. But is it hubris based on his own conviction, or is it hubris based on him promising the starting job to Fields? It makes me go down that route.
I think he just lost feel for the game, Robbie. I don't think he realized just how bad it was. And the fact that none of the coaches then are saying,
even worse.
Hey, Aaron, we see the overhead angles of these plays that from the coach's booth. We're looking down and seeing guys open. He's not letting it rip. It was coaching malpractice, man. You could still say, hey, Jake, give him more time. And I'll say, okay, he's got 11 games to show us something. Otherwise, I'm not advocating for this guy to oversee the development of a quarterback that they're going to take number 1 overall. Look at some of the other former first overall picks and the coaching situations they stepped into. They're all gone, those guys. Yesterday was the latest example with Callahan getting fired in Tennessee. You can't, in good conscience, feel good about this regime taking a quarterback first overall based on what you've seen. The coach has no idea how to evaluate the position. His big move was to bring in Fields. People could say, Well, Jake, what do you expect? He doesn't have a quarterback. I'd say he wanted Justin Fields. This was his big move. They didn't even have a competition for Justin Fields versus Tyrod Taylor. They just said, Justin, you're the guy. They gave him $40 million, which is absurd if you really think back on it.
You got to question a move where you turn away a guy who is playing at a high level in Pittsburgh right now and bring in a guy who struggled in two different places. Now, you understand the vision. You do. You truly understand the vision in terms of trying to be Philly, Baltimore. But we said it a million times this summer. It has to be buttoned up everywhere. If you go with that vision, the defense has to be good. You have to be smart. You have to do everything those teams have to do. Because guess what? How's Baltimore doing right now? 1 year where they're struggling on defense? Nothing. It has to be buttoned up beyond belief. And it's not even close in Jets land. Fields still gives you such an advantage rushing the ball and throwing the ball. And the fact that he's still not completing passes in a league where it's easier to complete passes in terms of efficiency than ever before in all-time history of this league, of this sport. It really says something.
Some more super chats here as we'll continue to break down the state of the Jets. We'll mix in some calls as well and then do our raffle at the end of the show for the 3 items. Bang Mateo says, Olu and Membu are our spear tip weapons. Remember, you can criticize the Jets for a lot of things. I don't think Olu and Membu draft picks are one of them. Bang. You got to stop banging the drum, pun intended, on this. Membu's been really good. Olu's had his ups and downs.
Is he criticizing Membu right now and Olu?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's never liked those draft picks. And it's like, dude.
Yeah, no, I think we talked. Listen, Dart. I reviewed a lot of Dart this offseason, and there's something intriguing there with him. And I know Jets fans were against it, and I get it. I understand why. Even though there was something intriguing there, I still think Membu was the right pick. I do. So that's the last thing we need to worry about right now for Fashanu and Membu and the offensive line. The very last. Honestly.
I mean, even if they had another weapon right now, let's say they took Tyler Warren instead of Membu. Have you seen Fields throw? What does it matter?
Do you think this offensive line can't work with a Kevin O'Connell or Sean McVay or even a Shane Steichen?
The Jets offensive line,
bang, Mr. Bang. Honestly,
it has been so much better than it's been. It's not, I'm not going to say that it's better than the Rex offensive lines with Sanchez, but it is a above average O line. A lot of teams in the league would gladly swap their O lines for the Jets O line.
The game is it's a thinking man's game now on the mic. It's such a rare thing in a sport to have such one-on-one communication from the guy who leads the team, who paints the vision and who's in charge of everything like a dictator, to each captain of each unit, offensively and defensively. It starts there. Let's get real, please. It begins there.
Rel says, Kurt and Dan said JF didn't play bad. I don't know who Dan is. Maybe Dan Orlovsky, I guess. I mean, that's not true. I heard Dan Orlovsky rip the Jets' offensive performance. Kurt Warner's been defending Fields a little bit, but even he in some of his tweets this morning, going at it with your guy, Michael Nadia, said, other than the 3 speed outs that he missed, and it's like, Kirk, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? He's like, oh, well, Fields wasn't that bad. Some of it was the play calling, and it's like, come on, man. Other than the 3 speed outs he misses Garrett here, Robbie. Dude. They win the game if he puts this on him. And to make matters worse, this is the play because Fields was so late on it and threw a hospital ball to Wilson. This is the play Garrett got hurt on. That's going to cost him at least 2 games here. And we already went through how dog crap the wide receiver room is. Like, come on, man. And then he misses Mason Taylor on this 3rd and 5 here late in the 3rd quarter with the Jets down 13-11. Look, he's staring at Mason Taylor. Like, what are we doing, man? This is what we're talking about here. So, I'm sure if we went through every single play, not every single play is always on the quarterback. That's life in the NFL. But when it is this bad, and I get it, Denver has a good defense, but when it's this bad, when you set a franchise record for net negative passing yards in a game, that's on the quarterback. I'm sorry. Fields is responsible for this. And if you don't want to blame Fields, blame the head coach who refused to see what we all knew, that a change needed to happen. This is why you had Tyrod Taylor. You didn't have, Luke Falk as your backup. Tyrod is a seasoned pro. If you can't go to him in this spot in a 13-11 game when you need a couple completions to win, why is he on the team as your backup then?
Listen, Kurt's a good guy. Let's start there. He's a great dude. So I get his perspective, and also on top of that, he goes on Twitter. He's going through the algorithm, and he's seeing all these people post film stuff and criticizing this guy was open, this guy, and in so many of those cases, the people are wrong. So I understand what Kurt is thinking and saying. Still, Kurt, dude, it's not just about the 3 he missed. It's about holding the ball, not throwing the ball away. It's about so many little things and details beyond just being inaccurate. You have to be, when you hold on to a ball, just one play where the O-line gives sufficient pass protection and you don't throw it away and you don't live to play another down. Do you know how deflating that is for an offense? To take an 8-yard loss, 9-yard loss instead of an incomplete pass? It's massive. And that happened 6 or 7 or 8 times. So, Kurt, I understand where you're coming from, but that's absurd.
It's just, come on, man. Justin Fields is also not some rookie. He's in his 5th year. This is what he is. We got to accept it. This is what he is.
Can't play scared offensively. It's a repeat of Zach Wilson.
Fields was afraid to throw an interception in this game.
Yes, and I used to get on Salah for that message. To Zach, you can't put shackles on guys. You have to let him take chances. I've said it so many times. Andy Reid has a quarterback Bible that he has and sends out to his quarterbacks along with his playbook. And the first line in that Bible is try to limit mistakes, but never be afraid to make mistakes. And, with so many Jets head coaches, it's been the opposite. Great. That would have worked in 1992 if your defense was good and your special teams was good enough. It doesn't work today. Period.
It's truly astonishing. Hit the like button if you're tuning in. Look at the more super chats here with Mr. Sabo. This one is from Daz, who checks in. Get me in for the Bart Scott jersey. You are in for 5, Daz. Did my best Sabo impression and missed the signing on Saturday by like 10 minutes. So unfortunately, I did not get to meet Bart Scott.
10 is the magic number. Yes, 10 is the 5 is, I think 5's okay. I shoot for 5, but 10 is the drop dead number for sure.
Daz, I hope you had a good time with the Jets in your home country, despite the actual game. Michael checks in with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 2 with this. Thank you very much, Michael. My 7-year-old grandson asked me Sunday, quote, why do we have to watch the Jets? They suck. Now, what do I do besides telling him not to say suck? You tell him that one day all the pain will be worth it. And if he says, well, when is that going to happen? You say, I don't know, but one day.
My advice is just say the world truly ended in 2012, and this is the Matrix. So don't sweat it. Don't worry about it.
Be like, we're going to teach you that life's not fair at a very young age.
Yeah, it's God.
It's just brutal, man. This fan
I'm calling
base is
CPS.
so
I'm calling CPS on that individual.
Shazam with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 2. Jake, I give you credit broadcasting with Mike T Sunday and not telling him what the hell were you guys thinking with hiring Aaron Glenn. I honestly think if we had an experienced, reputable head coach and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae, we'd be 4-2. This was my whole argument on why I wanted an established NFL head coach that had done it before, and why I felt like if you brought in the right coach, let's say it's Mike McCarthy, with him, Rodgers, Devontae, some of the talent that's still on this team, they could have been competitive this year, similar to what Pittsburgh's doing, and be right there in an AFC that is very watered down, surprisingly, and feels more open than ever. But they chose to go with the first-time head coach who's learning on the job. Right now, it looks like the job is way too big for him. He's got 11 games to go to try and figure things out. As far as working with Mike T, I mean, you could tell that even Mike was struggling to come up with justifications for not benching Justin Fields. Now, we were only on the air together for the first 3 quarters because we were on till 12, and that's when the fourth quarter was like a minute in when I got off the air. But, I mean, I was screaming, you have to go to Tyrod over and over again. And Mike, he had no answers because, he knows I'm right. He knows that his guy, Aaron Glenn, completely bungled it on Sunday. He does.
Here's the shame of it all. When you think about traditional football and this league, in most cases, Glenn is a great candidate. That's the shame of it all. But maybe Mikey T's in the same category. This is not what we're used to dealing with. It's something completely different. It's a different beast, different animal. And we're in the wild, wild west where so many people haven't realized that yet. I think that's the biggest takeaway. And, the hiring a 33rd team, I wasn't a fan. The Jets knew that. I didn't understand why it had to be the company name as opposed to just Spielman and Mikey T. But I had another point, and I completely forgot what it was.
It's just all bad, man. It's brutal.
What the fuck was it? I'll remember.
Let's see. This one is from Clay, who says, guess what? If they fired Glenn and this coaching staff after 1 year, what self-respecting coach with options would ever consider this job? And by the way, Glenn should be fired. No-win situation.
No, you hit on this perfectly the other day.
So if you think I hit on this, I guess my response to this, and you tell me if you think this is what you were thinking, Robbie, my response would be, I don't care if other people would or would not consider this job. The bottom line is this. If you know Glenn's not the guy, own your mistake and move on. Don't double down and make it worse by allowing this coach to oversee the first pick in the draft being a quarterback that you're putting in position to not have a chance to succeed in the hardest place to succeed, I'd argue, in the NFL. And there's plenty of guys who would, by the way, want this job. If you have the first pick in the draft and cap space with this offensive line, a number one receiver, you still have Mason Taylor, you might still have Breece, but if not, you do have Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. The defense still has some good players on it. Like, the idea people want to want this job, it's 1 of 32. It pays incredibly well. And once again, like, okay, maybe you can't get Harbaugh if he were to become available, or whoever the top fancy coordinator candidate is. But there's guys who would take this job. Mike McCarthy would take this job. He doesn't have options right now. Brian Flores would take this job and get a second chance. He doesn't have options. Cliff Kingsbury would definitely consider this job if he had a chance to handpick his quarterback he develops. This is the reason why Ben Johnson went to Chicago, by the way, in the first place. So, look, I hope it doesn't come to this, Clay. I hope Glenn, with 11 games to go, shows some real improvement and we feel better about this team going forward. But I can't sit here and say, oh, well, no one's going to take the job, so I got to keep Aaron Glenn for another year. That, to me, is foolish. If you realize you made a mistake, if you're Woody Johnson, then act the same way Robert Kraft acted and fired Gerard Mayo, also a franchise legend, after just 1 year.
Yeah, that's it. If an offensive guy who's going to be leading the charge has the pick of his quarterback and looks at this roster, for those who think there's no talent on this roster, you're wrong. If you want to say it's overvalued, sure, maybe. But look at week 1. The Jets and the Steelers, they played football. They went back and forth. And
Jets outplayed them.
And the talent on both sides showed, and it was very, very similar. And, it's not a good sign for the head coach when week 1, your talent is in the game and you're going back and forth and you should have won the game. And then every week after that is awful because finally something's on tape and other teams are looking at that. And, the Steelers didn't have a chance to see anything on tape. They had no idea what was coming. They had an idea with Fields, but you get the point. They specifically couldn't have checks, couldn't have defensive plans in terms of what if they come out in 3-by-1, what are we going to do? Empty, what are we going to do? You get the point. So they have talent. And the point I forgot about, people are missing the point with Rodgers, the Rodgers discussion mainly. It's not about him having to play for the Jets. It's about how the Jets handled that situation is and was a litmus test. How do you say that word? Litmus test.
Litmus, yeah.
Litmus test for the organization. Are they going to make moves purely based on winning games, or are other influences going to be involved? And I don't know the answer to that question, but I damn no sure it's fair to ask at this point. Why was Mike McCarthy not interviewed? What was the reason? Did reports surface that he was interested?
I mean, he wanted to still coach, and he took a couple interviews and didn't get a job and is now sitting out. But I think he would have been interested. Yeah, I definitely think there was nothing that said he wasn't interested or wouldn't have taken an interview.
Yeah. So it just, again, it's just a bad sign that, so many people's minds, myself included, just keep going back to the root of that message. And, hopefully, like you said it best. Hopefully Glenn turns it around and something clicks the rest of the way.
Would you agree, though, if this team is worst team in the league, bad, first pick in the draft, it's not crazy at all to have the one and done conversation with Glenn?
Oh, it would be crazy to not have it. I mean, and again, it's beyond the losses and the wins. It's beyond the standings. It's beyond the stats.
It's how it looks.
It's the process. It's the communication. It's the philosophy of the team. And I'm seeing a philosophy that doesn't match what wins in today's league. That's the crippling nature of it.
So this is from, let's see, did I upload the right tweet here? This is from Adam Schefter talking about the first pick in the draft quarterbacks the last few years, right? After Tennessee fired their head coach yesterday. The last four quarterbacks taken number one overall, I've seen their head coach fired during their rookie campaign. Like, this is the concern you have.
That's insane.
If you're the Jets and you allow Aaron Glenn and the staff to come back and you draft, let's say it's Fernando Mendoza or Lenore Sellers, and you realize we don't have the right coach. We're just wasting a year of development for that quarterback. And sometimes they could figure it out and you could get them back on the right track. Other times you have a Sam Darnold situation where you go from Todd Bowles to Adam Gase. That guy doesn't have a chance. And now, years later, Sam Darnold finally gets the right coaching, gets the right development, is in the right spot. Yep. And with two teams now, he's proven
spent a year with Shanahan. Spent a year with Shanahan.
He's a legit franchise QB. Baker Mayfield, the same thing, right? Like Daniel Jones. Look,
Mayfield was with McVay. Think about Darnold spent a year with Shanahan, then O'Connell. Think about the coaches these guys who got reinvigorated came across before they did so. And if anyone wants to tell you players are more success of a franchise hinges on talent more so than the direction and the voice and the philosophy in terms of who the head coach is, just bring up Darnold and Mayfield. There's no refute to it.
The Jets had a franchise quarterback. They ruined him. Don't let Aaron Glenn ruin the second one. Don't.
100%.
Let's see some super chats here. This one is from Daz, who checks in again. He says something that I just thought of. Beast Breaker got more passing yards on Sunday than Justin Fields. Let that sink in.
Yeah, that's might sink in on Thursday.
Ladies and gentlemen, I honestly said this on the postgame show. You can't tell me Beast could not have completed this pass to Garrett Wilson here.
See, the ball should have been out already. Like, at the very worst, the ball should be leaving his fingertips at this point.
Look how open he is, man. Like, this ended up being a hospital ball because he threw it so late and Garrett had to make an adjustment coming back to it. And could you say, hey, Garrett, hit him in the hands. You should have had it. Okay, fine. That's not the point, though. The point is, like, a competent quarterback could throw an 8-yard quick out. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's when the quarterback is throwing after he sees what he wants to see, something's very wrong. He has to be throwing in terms of what's going to happen.
Right, anticipation.
Yes, and it's like, how do you break him out of that mental spell is the question. And is Glenn thinking about that? Is Engstrand thinking about that? Are they going to work on that idea? That's what I would be very curious in if I was a fly on the wall in the Jets meetings this week.
It's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to some of your calls. Let's first check in with the man himself.
An 8-year-old could have thrown that shot right, like within a matter of radius of 3.4 seconds. Come on. I would have said, get it out, 3 seconds, launch. Simple shit.
So you would have made that pass, Beast. You agree with my assessment?
3 seconds. You're supposed, when you get that ball within 3 seconds, lightning it out.
Hey, where's your football? Can you show us what that looks like?
Yeah, dude, I saw Mr. Perfect throw. I saw Mr. Perfect throw a touchdown pass to himself in 1990. I mean, come on.
Hey,
Beast, Perfect. Put some lights on. Drop back. It's 3rd and 8. Jets are down 13-11. We're trying to get into field goal range here for our kicker, Nick Falk, to win the game and get us our first win. You're Justin Fields. Break it down for us.
Line. Up here, they look like they're gonna either crap themselves or they're gonna shallow themselves. Now get into the position of an I formation lock up. Get ready! Boo! 53! Boo! 53! Second and 3, 3 seconds!
Second and 3.
Garrett needed to do the full-on, spinorama dive and catch for that 3rd and 8 completion I was looking to see from Beast there, but that would have gotten it done, unlike what we saw from Field.
The Heisman should be molded in Beast silhouette, I admit.
Super chat from Cross Drag in the house. Cross Jag, one of the big time partiers in New York City, they say, Mr. Sabo. Let me leave it at that.
What happened? I missed that.
Cross Drag, man. I mean, he's a legend in New York City circles for his ability to party.
Oh dear.
Wonder what the line is that we win our last couple games and miss out on the first overall pick. Robbie, which QB would you draft? So he's saying like the Jets do what they've done in the past. They win like 2 of their last 3 games, and instead of picking 1, they drop to like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
What happens then? I think it's like a feel thing, right? Like if they have 1 win going into the last 3 weeks and they win 2 of 3, I don't care if Aaron Glenn tries to spin it like, hey, we're headed in the right direction. We finished strong. It's like, dude, you beat a bad Saints team, and then you beat the Bills resting all their starters in week 18. Stop it. So I guess I got to see what it looks like. As far as the quarterbacks for next year, Robbie, have you looked at any of the guys that could be coming out?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm vague. I'm familiar with them, obviously, but in terms of thinking about it, who would be the best? Not even close to there yet. Honestly, I would say this with Arch. I know Arch Manning has been pretty bad this year, but I don't think we should go crazy on that yet.
He's also not going to come out, so I think it's kind of a moot point.
True. But in the event that he does, I don't think we should go crazy, in other words. So I don't know. I do like Mendoza. I do. The Oregon kid, there's no slam dunk. That's the thing. And maybe that's a blessing in disguise, to be honest, because then whoever the regime is can really work some stuff. But we'll see. We'll see what it looks like.
Ladies and gentlemen, more super chats. Joey says, what's stopping us from trading for Shador and hiring Deion Sanders? Logic.
Yeah, I don't think that's the right move.
Spencer Green says, Beast, your big ass can't even protect your alliance from me. Hush up, Harry Potter Jr. I will take the global studio next. Strong words from Spencer here going after Beast.
Beast creates enemies, man. Like when you form an alliance, you're bringing the heat. So come strong to the party, Beast.
Jack with a super chat. He says it's simple. They let Rodgers go because Wilson didn't want to run precise routes. So the team decided with their young player who has more of a future here. I don't think it's just that, Jack. I think what happened was, I don't think Woody ever wanted Rodgers back. So I think part of the coaching search was let's bring in people who were on board with moving on from Rodgers. I think Glenn certainly was on board with that because I think he didn't want Rodgers to be there as he was trying to implement his program, which is his right. That's fine. Yes. But don't sell us on Justin Fields being the end all be all and then having no feel for what needs to be done when he's not the end all be all when you have a chance to win a game. Or don't sell us on all these promises he made about being disciplined and not committing penalties. And, hey, the last 4 minutes of each half belong to the head coach. And then, objectively speaking, be a total failure in those situations. That's my issue with Glenn. He's like a politician that ran on all these promises, gets elected, and can't deliver. And through 6 games, not only can he not deliver on what he said he would do as the head coach of the Jets, he has been far worse than anyone could have imagined. He's the worst head coach in football right now until proven otherwise.
Boomer Esiason said yesterday on Kay Adams' show, the Jets wouldn't be in the playoff hunt if they had Rodgers right now. And
Rex Ryan said that too, for what it's worth, yesterday.
They're not crazy. And fans who are acting like they're crazy are the crazy ones. It's, we're 6 games in. Of course they could be in the playoff hunt. Number one. Number two, there is no sin if Glenn truly wanted to go in a different direction as opposed to Rodgers. No, no sin at all. Of course, that's an acceptable road to travel. But God, I hope not. I hope not that there was a mandate, in other words, because if that's the case, then, we're just stuck in the mud. Because they're making personnel moves and staff hirings based on things that have nothing to do with winning football games. Do you understand how insane that is if that's the case? So, think about the $49 million in dead cap to get rid of Rodgers, $30 million guaranteed to Fields. That's $89 million. That's no small difference compared to what he would have cost. I mean, I know it would have been more to keep Rodgers, but still the difference is getting pretty tight. So I just gotta
And
hope
also,
not.
by the way, to your point on that with the cap stuff with Rodgers, like
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh, Jake, you don't get it. This year was never about winning. They're trying to tank to get their quarterback." And it's like, dude, if that was true, why did they split
You're
Rodgers'
right.
cap money up over 2 years? If they had absorbed it all this year and basically said to the fans, and we're honest, it's gonna be a tough year. It's gonna be a reset year. We're gonna look to see what we have and go from there. No, Glenn came in with this hubris that this team was just so badly coached a year ago that he could take a lot of the same players, which he chose to bring back. Or, oh, he's got to get his own guys, Jake. No. He wanted to keep some of these guys. They extended Sherwood. They brought back and paid Tony Adams. They retained Michael Clemens, who they could have cut and saved money by doing so. Like, I could keep going, but everyone has heard me say this now for months. Let's not move the goalpost that, oh, well, it wasn't really about winning this year. Sure, I don't think they planned to win the Super Bowl this year, but I bet you Aaron Glenn told Woody Johnson this team was going to be competitive and be able to win some games. There's no way he told them, yeah, this could be a tough year. We're going to have you spend $40 million on Justin Fields and our plans to start 0-6. No chance.
Right. It 100%. And listen, the moves he made, he had every right to make those moves, Glenn. But we got to be fair. The moves he made put more of a target on him. Not just personnel moves,
the way
things
he talked
said.
too. The things he said. Yep.
So, and I think he would agree with that. So we got to be fair. That's reality.
Mickey with a super chat. He writes, and I said before the season going into the year with Fields as the unquestioned starter with no competition as a fireable offense. If I win the Fields jersey, I will burn it. Well, that's nice to know that a jersey I paid significant money for will just be burnt if Mickey wins the jersey. On that note, look, I mean, you were all over this. I think you and I even talked about this at the time when it happened. A guy who preached competition over and over again. They just named Fields the starter with no competition.
It concerned me because it's a backdoor. It seemed like, and again, a lot of these things we talk about, there's no way I'm going to say it's definitely true, but there's so much stuff out there. When you combine it, it just feels troubling. So, if it is indeed and Fields' agent, there were reports that his next home, he's looking for a clear path to be QB1. That was true. That was out there. So if it was a backdoor promise, yeah, that's troubling. It really is.
It's unreal. O'Shea writes saying AG and Fields will be here in 26 and trade to get the Downs kid is a straight animal. If the Jets decide to trade out of the top pick, that's the only scenario where I think you could justify taking a safety if they got like a huge haul and they still took a premium player. And then maybe they did what the Giants do, for example, and they trade back in to the first round to get their quarterback. But other than something like that, I don't want to see the Jets draft a safety that high. I don't know, man. I understand Caleb Downs is a special talent. I get it. There's something off to me with taking a safety in the top 5 of the draft.
I agree. And this is someone who played safety, who is a defensive guy, who loves watching safeties more than any other position on tape. And I'm with you. And listen, it's not, let's put it this way. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Look at Baltimore with Kyle Hamilton. But that's where I start too.
Daz, super chat, cuts the line. He said, I heard the Jets tried to get Beast over to London for the game last week, but Woody refused to pay for 3 seats on the plane. So they didn't bother. Man, between Daz and Spencer Green, Beast really has his fair share of enemies. Hey, Beast, what do you make of that comment? Beast,
he got zinged.
Beast, you there? Looks like Beast has left the attic, folks. Don't know where he is. Beast? We may never know. What else we have here? Abu Dhabi Jet fan in the house. Were you in London, Abu Dhabi? That's where I met Abu Dhabi Jet fan in person last year. He writes that imagine starting off 0-2 with a rookie quarterback. The situation would be untenable. Barring a string of miracles, it's fertile. Or what is it?
Futile.
Oh, futile. Why did I say fertile?
I couldn't say litmus. It's
futile to bring back Aaron Glenn. Yeah. I mean, if they let him come back and they get off to a horrific start again next year, they're going to have so much egg on their face. They are. And I could totally see that happening because that's what the Jets do. So I hope it doesn't get to that point. I hope either Glenn shows competency the rest of the way or it's so bad Woody's hand is forced and he has no choice. But if you allow this regime to draft a quarterback and it goes poorly, like what happened with Matt Eberflus last year with Caleb Williams, what happened this year with Brian Callahan with the Titans, you're screwing yourself. You're absolutely screwing yourself. We're just throwing away next year already and then having major questions on, do we draft a bust? Can this quarterback be saved? And it's another offseason of uncertainty. And then the merry-go-round cycle of ruining a young quarterback continues. We've seen it how many times?
I'll be interested. I'm going to be paying close attention to how the process works the rest of the year in terms of communication, in terms of how on the ball they are, especially Glenn and Engstrand in the headset, and whether or not their leadership and smarts, because this game is about smarts more so than anything. Physicality, is it still part of the game? Sure. Not like it used to be. Discipline, same thing. It's about smarts. It's about positioning. So I'm going to be very curious to see if they could translate that leadership and that's the smarts to their on-field leaders. I think that's the big thing to watch out for.
Here's a question I have for you. You're going to be at the game Sunday, right?
Yes.
Will you stop by Lot E26 beforehand to say hello?
That's this weekend?
That's the game, baby.
I'm coming. What time? What time does it start? 4 a.m.?
Tailgate starts at 9 a.m.
Okay.
I'll be there before 9. You look for the guy wearing a bag over his head, and that will be me.
Narrow it down beyond 20,000, please. Yeah, I'll be there.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can meet Robby Sabo in person if you come to Tailgate Joe on Sunday. How about that?
Sir. Is Beningo going? I saw Beningo's spot too.
He did. He said he was gonna try and stop by. Joe also said he'd come to the watch party I'm hosting for the Bengals game if the Jets win Sunday.
That's what it was. If they beat the Panthers, yes.
Correct. By the way, folks, if everyone could RSVP, if you do plan on coming to our free Asmaniac watch party at Goldies Tavern, I can add your name to our halftime raffle where we're going to give away a signed Breece Hall frame jersey, Wayne Corbett signed football, Kevin Mawai signed jersey, among other prizes. Goldies Tavern next to Penn Station, right next to the Garden. One free beer if you show up wearing Jets or Jake Asman show gear. Jets Bengals, RSVP to this fantastic watch party if you are going to be joining us. It is 100% free, so we will commiserate all together as we watch the Jets play the Bengals. Probably will be our only regular season watch party, so make sure you attend. Mr. Sabo, plug JetX. What do we need to know about what's coming up content-wise?
Just type that jetsxfactor.com into your web browser, and off you go. I'll be watching the film today, so stuff's going to be coming out. Don't you worry. I got an article also ready to drop about a lot of the stuff we talked about today, the root stuff in terms of thinking and making moves based on winning football games purely. So.
What a concept.
It's listen, we'll see. I know it was a bit dead today, but I just keep, my neck hurts from shaking my head. I don't know what to do. I don't know what else to say, honestly.
Well, get ready for Sunday, baby. A blast from the past at the wide receiver spot.
Oh dear. If anything deserved an oh dear, it's this. Oh dear.
Oh man. All right. Mr. Sabo, all the love. Appreciate you.
Right. Later.
Robby Sabo with us. I'm going to stay on for your remaining calls. If you're tuning in late, we got a great opportunity today. Justin Fields signed jersey. That's not the opportunity, but that is up for grabs at the end of the show. Sauce Gardner signed jersey. And a Bart Scott signed jersey. 3 prizes for the raffle today. Gift a membership if you want to enter for your chance to win. Let's get to some of your calls right now. We're headed to Estonia, where the only Jet fan in the entire country of Estonia is standing by. Pred is first up today. Hello, Pred.
Hello. As you see, I'm wearing some very interesting gear. This is because all us Jet fans are in the trenches today and will be for the rest of the season. This is going to be
having a seizure watching your call, Pred. Your camera is going like vertical and horizontal, and it's going really.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Is it still doing that?
You're not in distress, though, right? You're okay?
I'm all right. Well,
all right.
Might as well be with the Jets,
Hostage videos. Just want to make sure you're okay.
Is it still doing that?
Yeah, it's still like glitching.
Huh? 1 second.
Hey, you give us a call back. I don't want to give people a seizure who are watching on their TV screens here. We'll get right back to Estonia. In the meantime, Tony Stark is on the line. We haven't heard from Tony in a long time. Hello, Iron Man.
Jake, what up, Jake? I know it's been a while. It's a conspiracy, Jake. You won't never let me talk to Robby, but I digress. So
you want to talk to Robby? I promise next week you'll be the first call with him, all right?
So listen, right? So I don't like all the Aaron Glenn hate, and I'll tell you why. Like, It is his first year. We know he was going to be learning on the job, blah, blah, blah. Let's get a man a little time, a chance, whatever. But here's my gripe with the coaching staff. Like, I understood the plan. What bothers me and what's upsets me so much is that we lost the one lineman that we could not lose. And they didn't pivot or have a plan for losing AVT. I think things would look a lot different if we had AVT, but this is football. People get hurt all the time. You have to have a backup plan and a backup plan to your backup plan.
Well, let
So
me say
that's
this, though,
where
Tony. I'll let you finish, but I actually would say the one thing they did have a plan for was losing AVT, all things considered, right? Josh Myers, I don't think has been bad filling in at center for Tippmann, and Tippmann's been a pretty good guard. If you just look at some of the advanced stuff on how they grade linemen, Tippmann's been very good overall.
I agree, but he's no AVT.
No,
He don't
but
open up,
that's the
he
problem
don't
with
open up
AVT.
the,
You
he
know,
don't
like
open up those holes like AVT do, man.
I
You
don't
know what
think the
I'm
O-line's
saying?
been the problem, though, Tony. The quarterback is very, very limited, which gives you, which if you don't play perfect or your defense is as bad as it was for every game besides this past game, you're not built to come from behind. They don't have the weapons outside of Garrett to really
I
have
agree.
a passing attack. It's
I
it's a
agree.
flawed team.
I was gonna get to Justin too. Now, Tanner Enstring has been scheming guys open for 6 games. Watch the film. Guys are open. The man just holds the ball. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. He will not let it go. Now, even on 4th down, the last game, it's 4th down. You throw it up. Maybe you get a flag. Maybe the guy makes a play. Maybe you get roughing the passer. Whatever. But you have to give us a chance. Standing there and taking a sack does not give us a chance, Jake. That's all I'm saying. And last but not least, like, I don't want to talk anything about drafting anybody in October. We've been doing that the last 5 years. I refuse to talk about the draft. I don't care who's the top quarterback in the draft. I don't care who's the best player in college football at this point. I know it matters, but I don't care. I don't want to talk about that in October, Jake. Keep doing what you're doing, bro. You already know, man. JETS.
Tony, appreciate you calling in, man. And look, I understand preaching patience with Glenn. Some of my issues with that philosophy, though, is if it looks this bad, you can't justify patience when you have the number 1 pick. It's too important of a pick. You can set your franchise back even further. As bad as the Jets are, it only gets worse if you take a quarterback and that quarterback is not put in position to have a chance, right? Then we do a couple years of, is it the coach? Is it the quarterback? If they bet on it being the coach, they bring in a different coach. What if it ends up being the quarterback, right? Or what if they're just bad with both of them? And it delays the inevitable, Like, we could put the blind faith in Aaron Glenn. That's fine. I think if you're the Jets, you got to be aggressive like New England was. And if you realize you made a mistake and there's proven guys out there that you think are better equipped to handle the direction of this team going forward, you got to strongly consider making a move. You do. I mean, let's look at history here. The Jets are banking on an outlier to be the case with them. I don't think that's necessarily a smart bet. And what do I mean by that? Here's the list of NFL head coaches to start 0-6 with a new team since 1980. Dan Campbell and a few others provide a couple of reasons of hope for Aaron Glenn. Most of the coaches on this list, though, failed. You see it there on your screen. Most of the coaches failed. That's a fact. Here's a better look at the chart. Coaches to start 0-6 with their new teams. The only coaches that ended up making the playoffs since 1980, Dan Campbell, Zach Taylor, Kyle Shanahan, and go all the way back to 1989 for Jimmy Johnson. Like, come on. This is scary. And the reality is, the Jets have more talent than some of these teams. The Jets have more talent than that 21 Lions team or that 2020 Bengals team. Remember, the Bengals in 2020, that team had Joe Burrow. He got hurt. And Zach Taylor, I don't think is a good coach. I think Zach Taylor gets carried by a Hall of Fame quarterback. Look at Zach Taylor's record with Burrow and without Burrow. Kyle Shanahan's a real coach. He's an outlier here, right? He got off to a bad start. He's proven he knows what he's doing. He's an offensive guy, though. And that's the other thing. All these guys here that made the playoffs in recent memory, they're all offensive guys. Aaron Glenn claims to be a football coach and not just a defensive coach. I'm sorry. He's a defensive coach based on what I have seen this year. And his defense is not even that good outside of one game so far. Like, let's be real. Dan Campbell, Zach Taylor, Shanahan, these guys are offensive guys. Glenn's a defensive guy who didn't have the wherewithal to bench his quarterback, who was having the worst quarterback's game from a net passing yards perspective in franchise history. We all knew Glenn needed to make a QB change. He didn't do it. So I don't have a whole lot of hope for him. I don't. I think he's a bad coach. I think he's an arrogant coach. I think he's a coach that's swimming right now. He's in over his head. And I hope he turns it around. I want to be wrong. I want the morons on Twitter to dunk on me for Glenn being awesome. Great. Not going to happen, though. I'm sorry. I don't see it. If it does happen, I hope I could say, wow, I'm an idiot. Aaron Glenn's awesome. I see this comment here from Renzel, who called in the other day on YouTube. He's watching on X. Glenn will win 6 games minimum. Really? You really think Aaron Glenn is going to win 6 games with this team? You think they're winning 6 games this year? The last time the New York Jets got off to an 0-6 start, you know how many games they won, Renzel? 2. The time before that, when they got off to an 0-6 start, you know how many games they won? 1. 96, 2020. Head coaches, Rich Kotite and Adam Gase. If you think the Jets are going to win 6 games this year, I would really love to know what drugs you're on.
Justin's numbers are not good from this game. Is he going to be your quarterback next week, or would you consider?
Man, what kind of question is that?
Come on, man. 6 wins? You think they're winning 6 games? No chance. There's no chance. It's not happening. I hope they win 6 games. That would show me a lot of improvement. I doubt it. Couple super chats here, then we'll get back to your remaining calls here on the show and do our raffle at the end. First, a shout out to Keith Kirkwood, who gifted a channel membership. He is in the raffle for 1.
And Jet fans are clueless. I mean, they're dopes. They don't know anything. This is a really good hire. Gase is a great coach. Okay, Adam Gase is Kyle Shanahan before Kyle Shanahan. Gase is a great coach.
Thank you to Keith. Wesley Gates gifted not 1, but 2 channel memberships to the community. He is in the Asmaniac raffle now for 2.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it.
Oh, we're here to win now, all right. Brian Nicholas signed himself up to be an Asmaniac. He hit the join button, became a channel member. He's in our raffle at the end of the show for 1. Some super chats, then back to your calls. Wesley says, I agree with Tony, but the problem is not pivoting when the roster can't execute their initial plan, make a new plan. I think that's coaching, right? What you just described. I understood what Glenn was doing with Fields. One thing I've been consistent on, even though I wanted to keep Aaron Rodgers, and I'm on the record saying that, and got a lot of shit for it, but I stand by it. I understood what they were doing with Fields. But I think what you can't do is be so stubborn and trying to force a round peg into a square hole. Fields didn't have it Sunday. It's fine. Sit him down for a half and win the game with Tyrod. Go back to Fields this week. You're allowed to do that. You don't owe Justin Fields anything. You can't be worried about losing the locker room or losing even Justin Fields' confidence if he got benched. Right? Glenn was like, I don't want the player thinking anytime he makes a mistake, he's going to get pulled. Dude, you gave him $30 million guaranteed. That's what the money's for, to quote Don Draper and Mad Men. That's what the money's for. If he can't handle it, then he's not an NFL quarterback. He's not a starting quarterback, which we know he's not. He's a backup at this point. But like that's why you paid Fields. You gave him a chance to be the guy. You owe the other 52 players on the team You owe them the opportunity to win the game with someone who gives you a better chance to do it. Like, Fields is not your guy. You didn't draft him. This is not like, hey, we got to go through the growing pains with him because, it's all part of the maturation process. Guys, he's in his 5th year. He's in his 5th year. Mike Tomlin is going to the Hall of Fame on roller skates when it's all said and done. He benched him at 4-2. That's coaching, man. You got a lot of heat for it. You know what? Mike Tomlin did it because he knows what he's doing. That's why Mike Tomlin signed Aaron Rodgers, because he saw it was the Jets being a mess and not Rodgers being bad. That if he put Rodgers in the right spot, he can win with them. And he is. He's going to win the division. Going away, by the way. As long as Rodgers stays healthy, they're going to cruise to an AFC North title. Cruise. So you got to pivot to a new plan when your initial plan's not working. And no one's saying you couldn't go back to Fields this week. In fact, I'd advocate to go back to Fields this week. See how he responds to some adversity. But no, now that you didn't bench him, and there's, murmurs of players being unhappy, SNY reporting that players have expressed that they think Tyrod's better than Fields. Now that you start to have this, how's Fields going to react if he goes 3 and out and everyone's booming on Sunday? And it's like Zach all over again with the groans. Can Fields handle it better than Zach? I hope. He's been better than Zach, but he played it worse than Zach in a lot of games on Sunday. That's how bad that was. Like, what happens now if Fields is terrible? Is Glenn going to be so stubborn again and just leave Fields out there? Come on, man. You're 0-6. You owe it to the team to get a win. What are you doing? That game was so winnable. You owe it to the team to make a move there. You're preaching accountability. You're preaching that if you don't play well, you're not going to be out there. That if you hurt the team, you won't play. And now the head coach is coming out saying he's not going to bench anyone after one bad game. Hello, you cut Xavier Gipson. The messaging is so hypocritical. And I get it. Look, everyone's going to be evaluated different, right? There's different rules for different level of player. I get that. But Fields was that bad, man. They act like it was an unfair question. And the double down on it yesterday, I thought was stupid. I thought this answer from Glenn on why he's sticking with Justin Fields this week, I thought this made him look even worse.
Aaron, is your commitment to Justin as strong as it was yesterday after the game, after going back and reviewing the tape?
You know what? Here's what, I thought about this a lot last night. I thought about the question that was asked. And when you look at what Justin did, the games that he played, listen, I didn't think he was bad at all. I actually thought he did some pretty good things in those 4 games. In this 5th game, he took a step back, and I'm with you guys 100%. And we can't have that. We have to get better than that. And he knows that. And he knows that better than anyone, So I don't think you just try to bench a player after having one true bad game, because I thought the other games he played fairly well.
Guys, we have to be honest here. While Justin Fields has not been their biggest problem, right? Because we've been focusing so much on the defense and the special teams and the just blatant coaching miscues. He hasn't been good since week 1. He hasn't, right? There are moments where he's been pretty good. I don't think he was terrible against Miami, but the facts are the facts. The Jets' offense, outside of one game this year, has been dog crap. They've averaged 6 points per game in the first 3 quarters outside of week 1. They don't have a first half touchdown since the opening game of the season. They have not scored a touchdown unless they've been trailing by at least 2 touchdowns since that opening game against Pittsburgh. So no touchdowns in the first half. And once again, the New York Jets, this is a real stat, have not scored an offensive touchdown until they've fallen behind by 2 touchdowns. Fields' offensive stats are fake. They're not real. So I understand Glenn saying, well, I'm not going to bench him off one bad game because he's been pretty good in the other games. I think he's been good. He hasn't, though. He hasn't been god awful. Like, he was historically bad Sunday. He had never been that bad, right? He had never been that bad. But it's not like he was good in the other games. He had one very good game week 1. And let's be real. The reason why I believe Justin Fields played well against Pittsburgh is because there was no tape on what the offense was going to be with Fields operating what the Jets want to do with Tanner Engstrand calling the plays. Now that the book is out on what the Jets do, their tendencies are obvious. Teams know you sell out to stop the run. The Jets don't have the weapons to win one-on-one on the outside. And even if they do, the quarterback is not going to be able to make the plays. The book is out on Fields. And the only way, the only scenarios where he's had any success is when teams are playing soft prevent defense and allowing yardage in front in exchange for checking off the clock, right? Teams are trading yards for clock. Seconds off the clock for yards gained. Teams don't care if Fields is able to put together some drives where they where they gain a bunch of yards. Who cares? The clock's ticking. The Jets don't have explosiveness. They don't have a big playability. Like, look at your screen, everyone. Someone send this to Aaron Glenn. Come on, man. This is why people in the locker room are questioning the head coach. This is why people in the locker room are questioning if Fields is their best quarterback, because they know he's not. We don't need to lie. And another reason why I don't want Glenn back if they're picking number 1 overall is because when you think about it, right? If these are the answers we're getting from the head coach when he's being asked to talk about his quarterback, you think that's the guy that you have faith in to develop the first pick in the draft? You think that guy is the right coach to harness the talent of whoever they take? Like, whoever they take, we all can admit, whoever they take, even if we don't end up agreeing, and I know we won't because this fan base will argue tooth and nail on every little thing about these quarterbacks. There will not be a consensus. Here's my prediction for the offseason. I don't know who they're going to end up taking. They're going to take a quarterback in the top 3, and that's where they are. And we won't agree. Some of us will want Mendoza. Some of us will want Sella. Some of us will want someone else that we aren't even talking about right now. That's how this goes. But whoever they take, we all can admit they have talent, right? You think this coach is going to be able to harness that talent? I don't. What have I seen? And I don't think Engstrand is terrible, but it starts with the head coach, man. The best coaches in the league, most of them are offensive guys, and most of them call plays. Right? That's just a reality. So I can't with Glenn needs more time. Okay, he gets 11 games, but if they're sitting there first overall at the end of the season, worst record in the NFL, he doesn't get more time. Don't double down on your mistake if you're Woody Johnson. Admit you fucked up. I hate saying it. You have to admit you effed up. You have to. I don't know if Woody will, though. He's very egotistical. He's very prideful. Is he going to want to admit, I screwed up hiring Aaron Glenn? Does he have the balls to make a move after 1 year? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I know if I own the Jets and this head coach came in and said what he said, and we ended up being the worst team in football, I can't, in good faith, move forward with him. I can't. And I really want Aaron Glenn to work out, but learn from the last 4 number 1 overall picks and the situations they walked into. Look at the Bears this year. Thank God they hired Ben Johnson, right? Chicago's now 3-2. They won 3 in a row after an 0-2 start. Ben Johnson's come in, and he's been exactly what they needed. And I question whether or not Ben Johnson would be great because you just never know with any first-timer. But you know what? If you're going to roll the dice on any first-time coach, it has to be an offensive guy. The Jets, in addition to continuing to hire guys that have never been head coaches before, all they do is hire defensive coaches. And that defensive coach mentality percolates the entire locker room. And it's affected Fields. He's afraid to throw an interception now, probably because Glenn is teaching him, take care of the ball, young fella. Take care of the ball, and our defense will make the plays. Like, come on. All right, I'm going to get to your remaining calls here, but I just have to talk more about you can't move on after a coach after 1 year. You can. Today's NFL, you can. Rebuilds don't take 5 years in the NFL anymore. We keep getting sold on how long it's supposed to take for the Jets to rebuild. Nonsense. They have good players on this team. Every team has holes. Every team has flaws. But if you're well coached in today's NFL, you could be in the mix. You can be competitive. The Colts with Daniel Jones. Look what they're doing right now. You go down the line. Like, look at the teams that have turned things around. Jacksonville's in a much better position they've been. Chicago. You look at what Houston's done the last couple of years. If they were even worse than the Jets, New England. Atlanta's 3-2. Carolina's 3-3. Seattle's 4-2. The Niners, who have barely had Purdy play this year, are 4-2. It's just, I can't. Brian is in the raffle for one. He gifted himself a membership. Thank you. Our guy, Knob Kraft, who won a Jets rivalry jersey on the postgame show the other day. He is in the raffle for 2. He writes in, Aaron Glenn is bringing on all this pain because he's wearing capri pants on the sidelines. He's being punished by God for looking ridiculous. Brick can fix this. Wow. Knob Kraft is calling for Brick Johnson to fix things.
Let's get Brick up.
I'll tell you what. I don't know what Brick is thinking out there, but it'd be nice to know. Be nice to hear from the owner, no? I mean, what's Woody thinking? If I'm Woody Johnson, I'm having serious doubts. Chris M says, I'd be shocked if we win one game. Don't be. As bad as the Jets are, I promise you they're going to win a game. They are. There's never been a team that's gone 0-17 before. They're going to win games. Are they going to win a lot of games? No. But they're going to win games. We don't need to pretend like they won't. They're going to win games. This is a football team that has talent on it, and every team in the NFL wins games. Not a lot of games, but they're going to win some games. This is not a team that's going to be 0-17. That's just not what the Jets do, by the way. They don't go 0-17. That's not how this works. They'll win their couple games. What I don't want, though, is for them to win their couple games late in the year. What I don't want them to do is to win 2 of their last 3, and they finish 3-14, and Aaron Glenn is trying to sell us on, look, it wasn't the start, but it's how you finish. You know, we went into New Orleans and we beat a 3-win Saints team. That showed me something, man. We lost a close game to New England in Week 17. That was improvement, man. We beat the Bills, who are playing their third stringers in a game that means nothing for them. And we got that win, man. That's a division win right there. That's how you end the year strong. That's our first win in 2026. We're undefeated in 2026. Look at me. I'm Aaron Glenn, head coach of the New York Jets. You can't have that. You can't. That can't be acceptable. If you're going to win some games, you have to win games before we get to that point in the year. You got to win this week against Carolina or Cincinnati. Beat Cleveland. Have a nice win on the road in a nationally televised game against New England where you look competent. Are these things going to happen? Probably not, but that's what you have to do to show that you're making real progress. Nobody thought this team was going to be 0-6 before the year started. Adjust your expectations. Or don't move the goalpost. Think back to what you were saying in August. Think back to what this head coach was telling you this team was going to be. At no point did you ever think they'd be the only team in the NFL 6 weeks in without a win. You didn't. This head coach said they're going to win now. If they were 2-4 right now, that would be acceptable. It would be certainly reasonable. I think we'd be frustrated, but we would say, look, what did you really expect 6 games in? You probably thought 2-4 was reasonable. They don't have a win. And people are sitting there being like, oh, look for the bright spots, Jake. You should see the tweets I get every day from morons. It's unreal how dumb some people are. Look for the bright spot, Jake. You kidding me? There is no bright spot when you're a national embarrassment.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it.
Brutal. Super chats here. The big fella in the house says, how crazy is it that Todd Bowles is the coach for the best team in football this year? Baker's the man. Still wish we got him. We are winning Sunday. We're winning Sunday because the Asmaniacs will be there. Somehow, some way. Look, I mean, Todd Bowles, you talk about him going into the right situation. 5-1. Baker right now, I think, is the MVP of the league. I think Baker Mayfield is the MVP of the NFL right now. 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's 4th in yards passing at 1,539. He's done it with a bunch of injuries to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Ibuka. I think Baker Mayfield is the MVP of the NFL right now. He'd have my vote. Mafia checks in. He's in our raffle coming up for 2. Thank you, Mafia. Glenn is a grifter and says all the right things while we were down, so we got sold on it. The real thing starts, and it's the worst we've ever seen. Let's not forget he retired a Texan and signed a one-day contract. Aaron Glenn to me is a Jet. That's not the issue. But we have to separate the great player he was and evaluate him as a coach. And if we're evaluating him as a coach, he's in the conversation with Kotite and Gase, as far as I'm concerned, and Ulbrich, who was an intern. So there's a difference. I said this yesterday to Alan Hahn when I went on with him on ESPN New York. Alan's telling me about patience and, look, this is the guy that wanted the job, and let's give him a real chance to show what he could do. And I'm like, okay, but if it looks like this through 11 games, then what? I said, Alan, right now, he's as bad as any coach we've seen, including Ulbrich. And Alan goes, Ulbrich, I mean, that was the worst coach ever. And I go, exactly. And even you would have to admit, this guy's been that bad. And he did. So, look, some guys just don't have it, man. Nate Hackett got a year in Denver. Didn't even get the year. Urban Meyer didn't even get the year. Some guys just look overmatched. You can't sit here and tell me Aaron Glenn doesn't look overmatched right now. He does. He does. His answers trying to explain his horseshit decision-making in this game on Sunday expose him for the fraud he has been. Maybe he magically learns how to manage the clock and do better and figure all this out. I hope he does. But I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for him. I'm going to keep it real. Some of you might not like the honesty. That's okay. You can find a different show. But I'm only going to tell you how I feel. And you can agree or disagree, but I don't see it right now. I don't. Big fella says field stats are as real as pro wrestling. Hey, wrestling's real. Just ask Beast, right, Beast? Beast? Where are you, Beast?
I was in the bathroom taking a leak.
How'd it go?
In the words of the great Mr. Jones, I can back all night. But wrestling is real. If you watch it from Mexico or Japón, also known as Japan, you'll get the bigger difference. See, America's a different, kind of breed. We're crazier. We're a little nuts. Some like tennis, some like golf, some like basketball, some like whatever sport they feel necessary for. But I don't see Aaron Glenn not even trying to put his teammates together because lately the lacking in the locker room is not there. There's no communication. There's nobody's talking. Nobody, not even teammates are talking to each other. There's nothing there. It's
hey,
zero.
Did Glenn give you a call, by the way? I gave him your information.
He already knows. It's called, you got 5 business days. You already know what to do. It's called, my number. You got it right in front of you. So don't play stupid with me. Playing stupid with me is like playing with trying to teach an old dog new tricks. Unfortunately, I don't have a dog. I only got a little guinea pig and 8 squirrels that I feed every day. How you like them apples?
You feed 8 squirrels every day?
That's right. And how you like them apples? How do you want your apple? You want pink apples? You want Macintosh? You want Honeycrisp? You want those? Oh.
Thank you, Beast, for that incoherent thought. We're getting back to your calls momentarily. First, let's see. This one is from Chris, who says Fields hasn't done much, but on Sunday they wanted him to be a pocket passer instead of a dual threat QB. Why? Only the Most High only knows. I mean, it's such a very, nuanced conversation to have about Sunday with Fields because it's easy to blame the play calling, but then you watch the all 22, and I'm waiting to hear back from Joe Blewett, but he should be our guest on the second show today for the film review. You're seeing guys open. You are. And if a quarterback is that historically bad, I don't really care what the play calls are. I don't know if you have a chance, honestly, if it's that bad. Should they have run him more? Sure. Should they have asked him to drop back and throw late in the game after they picked up a first down on the Breece run? No, they should have just ran it 3 straight times. I think they should use more QB power. They should have more RPOs, more design. I agree with all that. But it's professional football, man. If a guy can't complete a forward pass, I don't know, man. I'm not telling you Angstran's been great, but I want to be fair here because I think he's so severely limited by what he's dealing with. And I think on Sunday, he didn't have a prayer with how Fields was playing. It's just a mess right now. It starts with the head coach, though. Because if they went to Tyrod for a spark, they win. Period. Ralphie says, I'm still in London once the Jets led by announcing the defensive starters and Michael Clemens was first out of the tunnel. I know we were toast. Ralphie, I'm sorry you had to witness that. The only thing I will say, though, because I have been as down on Clemens as any Jet fan. I want to be fair, though, because I try to be fair. When I can accentuate positives, I will do it. I thought Clemens had one of his best games ever Sunday. He played well. He drew a holding penalty that led to a safety. Didn't commit any dumb penalties. Like, the defense played really well. They had a good game. That's what I expected to see from the defense this year. Where are all the people who are like, oh, Jake, what can you expect from the defense? They have no talent. Right, so they should allow 30 points per game every game. That's what you expected, to allow the most points in Jets franchise history through the first 5 weeks of the year, right? That is what we all expected from a defense that last year, even though they were overrated, still was third in the NFL in yards allowed. Come on. Like that's what I expect to see from the defense now going forward. You're not going to hold teams to 13 points every game, but force a turnover, hold teams to field goals, get off the field, tackle well, play like a team. They played like a team. Jermaine being back, they played like a team. He rallied them. He led the huddle, made plays on his own. Brownlee, I thought, provided a nice spark in the secondary. He wasn't afraid to get down and dirty and tackle in the screen game. You know, his first play as the Jet, he's forcing a fumble. Like, that's what they need, man. That defense legitimately played well. I hope they can build on it. Zach says, what scares me is allowing the coaching staff to decide what players to trade at the trading deadline, let alone draft the quarterback. That's another thing, too. Agreed. O'Shea says, you haven't seen close to Justin Fields' best game. His best game of his career was week 1. Statistically, like it was. Quarterback rating-wise, all that. Knob says, who else is left to save us but Brick? Bang Mateo gifting a membership. Wow, I can't believe my eyes. Bang Mateo in the raffle for one. Thank you, Bang. Spencer Green, all caps. Beast, I already told you, Harry Potter looking ass. I have destroyed and conquered your alliance. I am headed for the global studio next. Apologize now.
Suck this and right down here. You don't like it? Tough shit. I am not a meatball.
Thank you, Beast. More of your calls. Back to Estonia. Let's see if we can hear Pred this time. Then we got Clifton. We have Briga. And we might have my arch nemesis all on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, Pred will start us off this segment. Hello, Pred.
Hello. Am I not, causing
much better?
Fantastic. So what I have to say is if Glenn starts, Fields this Sunday, it's suicide. Starting Fields is suicide. It's like putting a particularly sociable and, happy-go-lucky gazelle in a world full of lions. Suicide, and watching the AFC East this season, watching Drake May ball out for the Patriots is like watching your worst enemy marry a supermodel while you're sat at home knocking one out to a stamp collection. It is horrific. I hate this, The Patriots once again lead the division. This is terrible. This is terrible. I hate this so much. You see this special get up here? This is because us Jet fans are in the trenches right now. And the rest of this season is going to be spent in the trenches for us. It is going to be rough. Rough.
Look, we're built for this shit. The head coach said it. So
we're the New York
nothing
Jets.
We can't get through. This is what we do as Jet fans. It's never been worse. Somehow we keep digging, but we will figure it out all together.
We will reach the core of the earth at some point. We have to. But this is rough. This is really, really rough. And now we're hearing, potentially trading Jermaine Johnson, potentially trading Breece Hall.
I don't think they're going to trade Jermaine.
I mean, if the offer is high enough, I honestly wouldn't be surprised at this point, And at that point, like, who are we beating? Like, without Garrett, we're not beating Carolina. Like, we're sitting here staring 0-7 down the barrel.
Correct.
This is and honestly, like with Joe Flacco at the Bengals, 0-8 is honestly a very real possibility. When is the last time
I don't know if Joe Flacco's why, Pred, but right now the Jets can lose to anyone because they are the worst team in the league until they prove otherwise. That's how I view
Oh,
them.
absolutely. But no, but what I mean by that is Joe Flacco is a lot better than Jake Browning, right? With Jake Browning, we probably would have had a chance, but Joe Flacco is a competent quarterback still. Early returns in Cleveland. So I don't have a lot of hope for this season left, But
the hope's gone as far as being a playoff team. What you now want to see is, can the coach show some real improvement where he earns the right to oversee the first pick in the draft being a QB, or their first round pick in the top 5 being a quarterback?
But you know what the Jets will do? This is classic Jets. They will beat a Buffalo Week 18, like pencil it in. Make your bets right now. Against the Buffalo practice squad, and the Jets will probably eke out a win against New Orleans. The week before that. Like this is. And that will ruin our draft position too, because I don't see the Titans winning another game. So
They probably will.
Bad. This is bad.
You very rarely see teams win only one game. Tennessee's probably going to win 2 more games the rest of the way. Probably.
Well, don't count on it.
No, I'm just telling you, like, recent history since the NFL went to a 17-game season, like, you typically don't see teams win 1 game. I don't think it's happened.
It hasn't. We have not seen a 1-16 team yet, but there's always time for a first.
There is.
There is always time for a first.
No, it could be the Jets. You're not wrong, Fred. Keep holding it down for us in Estonia, all right?
I'll try my best. My Estonia is kicking off in about 2 minutes here, so hopefully they can pull off a win. Make this week somewhat better.
Is that your soccer team or football?
Yep. National team. So I got my wonderful Estonia hat here.
Nice. Soccer club.
Pretty terrible.
Okay.
In recent history, but just like the Jets, I'm a real sicko, when it comes to sports.
I love it. Well, hang in there and keep calling it, man. I love your calls.
Absolutely. And go Jets.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
Well done. Steven writes in, saddest part is Garrett Wilson will not eclipse 1,000 yards. I still think he can, right? Because he's off to the best start in his career statistically. Let's say he misses 2 games and he comes back. That would give him 15 total games played this year, right? He still should be able to go over 1,000 yards. He's at 395 right now. What's 395 divided by 6? Right? He's averaging 66 yards per game. So he would still be on pace to hit over 1,000 at that number. I think he still will go over 1,000. All right, let's get to more of your calls now, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, up next is our guy, Kyle Clifton.
Something I don't understand. Beast feeds 8 squirrels to what? Does he have a bear or a cougar or something?
This was just sent to me by a listener who apparently spotted Beast feeding the squirrels, so I'm not quite sure what's happening.
I can't see it on the in the StreamYard. I'm trying to catch up on the TV.
Oh, you'll see it.
But listen, Glenn said, like, you can't say have patience with Glenn when Glenn told us not to have patience with him. He basically set the stage and said, I'm going to come in, I see talent here, and we're going to win right away. Or at least be competitive right away is kind of what he said. He raised the bar on his own self when the cautious thing to do would have been, it's the first year of the program. let's see what we have, and then we can go from there. The one thing that Robby was saying is we needed a coach that was smart. I was reading this morning that the Bills fans are down on Joe Brady for some reason after 2 games. You know, I don't know if you watched last night at all. I don't think that it was Joe Brady that was throwing key interceptions, but I digress a little bit there.
Bills fans upset with Joe Brady. It just shows you that no matter how good you might be, every fan base is just crazy when they watch their teams play.
Right. It seems like they might be a little spoiled there, right? But as far as smart goes, this is a guy who graduated with dual degrees from William & Mary, one in Master of Business Administration, another in kinesiology. And then he went and got his master's in education from Penn State. That sounds like a pretty good background for an NFL head coach to me. Putting aside the resume, which is, you know, pretty good when you look at what he did at LSU and what he's done with the Bills. He's a guy that would have to get serious consideration. I kind of think Glenn is a foregone conclusion to be gone.
Well, I don't know about that because I think based on how he looks and how this is going, yes, I think the wild card is Woody Johnson. 1, is he willing to admit the mistake? 2, is he willing to pay Glenn to go away and then pay a new head coach and coaching staff and likely GM too? I don't think Muji survives and Glenn stays.
No,
or
of
Glenn
course.
down.
Yeah, that's the key thing is, will he be willing to eat the money, right?
He has the money to do it. So I think it's an ego thing, right? Like Woody, does he want to admit he screwed up this badly? I think that's what it comes down to. If I'm him, I would, because all I would care about is winning and getting the franchise back on track. But he's a billionaire with an ego. And does he have people being honest in his corner, or does he have a bunch of yes men around him?
I mean, what is the benchmark for keeping this guy? Is it 4 wins? That's depressing. Like, I mean, I think it would be a foregone conclusion that he would be going to 3 wins, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would get rid of him at 3 wins. Solid 1-4 with a way worse team. That's what I keep coming back to in my head.
Right. And what I keep coming back to is he kept on telling us, well, it's coaching. He shot himself in the foot so badly, basically alluding to the fact that he was going to be so much better than the previous staff.
Oh, yeah.
And was going to be able to elevate them. So I'm a little frustrated with Mr. Glenn, and he's left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth thus far. That's pretty much all I had, Jake. I appreciate your time,
Kyle. That's very well said. I mean, it's the messaging from Glenn from the beginning put himself in a spot where if he didn't deliver, it was going to be bad. And not only has he not delivered, it's been historically bad. Once again, no Jet coach has ever started this bad, ever. The way they're losing these games is alarming. It's getting worse, not better. And like that game Sunday, everyone saw. Everyone. I was getting messages from people that have not watched the Jets all year that saw it. It's the first time a lot of people sat down and watched the Jets. That's what you got to see. That's what you saw. You saw a coach who looked clueless. That's like, this wasn't just, he's learning on the job. These are fundamental coaching mistakes that don't happen at the high school level. That was so bad. I don't think people realize just how not all losses are the same. That was embarrassing, man. And he couldn't explain it afterwards. Couldn't explain the first half debacle. The only thing he would admit he screwed up was not throwing the Hail Mary at the end of the first half if you were just going to run out the clock rather than sit on the ball. The way he tried to explain why he didn't attempt a field goal with Falk at the end instead of going for it on 4th and 8. He thought it was a 65 or a 68-yard field goal. It was 62. He didn't know the yardage. Then he said the target line for them was to get to the 35. So what, Nick Falk could try a 52 or 53-yard field goal? What? He hit from 58 earlier this year. Ridiculous. Not benching Fields at any point. Malpractice. Bad. He's trying to say, well, outside of this one game, Fields has been pretty good this year. He's wrong, right? We could say Fields has not been their biggest problem until this game, but he hasn't been good. How could you tell me your quarterback's been good if Outside of week 1, you've not scored an offensive touchdown until you've fallen behind by 2 touchdowns. All your production offensively, besides one game, the outlier game, week 1, when there was no film on what you're going to be, what you're going to do, you have not scored unless you're in garbage time. In Fields' starts, they have not scored in the first half since week 1. And even the game in Buffalo, when they scored the offensive touchdown, that was Tyrod, not Justin Fields. Tampa, Tyrod, not Justin Fields. Miami, Fields, losing 17-3. Dallas, losing 30-6. And Glenn's going to tell us that he's going to gaslight this great fan base into thinking the quarterback has played pretty good? Come on, man. This shows me you don't have a clue about offense. You don't have a clue about the modern NFL offense, how to actually coach a quarterback. You got to find someone who does if you're drafting a quarterback, which they are, because they're not winning enough games where we're going to be like, well, maybe we don't draft a quarterback in round 1. Let's get our quarterback later on. No. Big T Charlie in the raffle for 2. He says, I really would have never in my life guessed us starting 0-6. I knew we were going to have an up and down season, but damn, this is hard. I wouldn't be mad if they were fighting to the very end. See, if the Jets played more of their games like they did week 1, they wouldn't be winless. You know? Like Glenn said, what are your expectations? They asked him. A team Jet fans are proud of. A lot of us, I don't know. I know I wasn't proud with week 1, but I can't say they didn't play well, right? They played a complete game. I was upset with the moral victory stuff, and I think Glenn fed into that, and that's why they came out flat as a pancake in week 2. I think that's on the head coach not having his guys ready. But, like, if they played that well, especially on offense, right, they wouldn't be winless right now. If it didn't take to the 6th game of the year for the defense to play like the defense that we thought they'd be in a lot of these games, they wouldn't be like, this is all signs of a bad football team, man. A poorly coached team. More calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, a man we call One Punch Dave Briggs next.
He thinks that Charles and Bobby need to get a job. This cowboy hates to see us maniacs complain. What he call him, One Punch Briggs. You need to get a job. What he call him, One Punch Briggs. The beast is on his ass. Call him One Punch Briggs. Has anyone seen Bean Mac? Call him One Punch Briggs. You'll only need one.
Today.
Dave, there you go.
Listen, as one who witnessed the Rich Kotite era, as a few have here, we are seeing the Rich Kotite era revisited and descending, by the way, descending. You know, as a Jets fan, lifetime Jets fan, and seeing a lot of things, mostly losses in recent years. We know the record. You know, fans have to have hope. And right now, we're looking at a state of hopelessness. Hope means you have something to look forward to. We have nothing to look forward to. We have a coach that constantly is in a condescending attitude towards the media and his fans. Constantly reminded us he's a disciple of Bill Parcells, which, by the way, if he was, he wouldn't be making these horrible decisions that he's making. You know, let us not be fooled and have your eyes not deceive you. What we see is what you see is what you get. We have seen no progress, only regress. Okay? My question is this. We have a toxic owner. And now we talking about his kid, Brick. Listen, this guy can sell the team fast enough. I don't know what we have to do, but we have to convince this guy to get out of the football business. Not that because he makes too much money at it. That's why we see him. We're stuck with this toxic guy. Here's the problem. We have a guy, Glenn, who's running the whole show with his sidekick. Okay, when Woody was given the option to investigate a new regime, and Mr. T being the chief person at fault, I think here, we had options. And I specifically remember, Jake, you speak of Thomas Dimitrov. Here's a man that was qualified and probably would have been able to pick his own coach, not just, Glenn picking his own, whatever happened on that realm. And now we're stuck with this garbage football. This is garbage and no hope. That's how I see it. And something has to be done because I I don't see any progression from this guy, and his attitude is horrid. It's horrid, you know. I'm not going to reiterate everybody's called for weeks now. There's no sense going over what we see, but that's just my take on it. What do you have to say? What do you think, Jake?
I think it's all well said, Dave. I really do. I appreciate you, my friend. Hang in there.
He thinks that Gary needs more shots upside his head. This cowboy hates when you don't believe in achievement. Well, they call him One Punch Brigger. The moon landing was great. They call him One Punch Brigger. His claim is not too dirty. One Punch Brigger. Jermaine Johnson's fight inside his One Punch Brigger. Does he know they need one? Yeah.
As far as Woody goes, though, it always feels like a waste of time when we talk about, sell the team. He's not going to sell the team, guys. I wish he would. We all do. It's not going to happen. And I've always said this about Woody. Is he a good owner? I mean, come on. But the idea that you can't win with him, I've never subscribed to, because he's the same guy that from 2000 to 2016 never had consecutive losing seasons. You have to have the right people in place. James Dolan was never going to sell the Knicks. The Knicks are right now the betting favorites to go to the NBA Finals out of the East. You got to hire the right people. We hoped Glenn could be the guy. I don't think he is. I don't. I know it's only 6 games, but I don't. I don't think he's the guy. So you got to get the right guy. That's where it starts. It starts with the coach, man. We can give Glenn more time. I'm not saying fire him now. See, people are like acting like I'm saying fire Glenn right now. No. I'm not. If anything, I'm saying do not fire Aaron Glenn right now. People are like, fire him now. No, firing Aaron Glenn now would be a major mistake. The perception of your organization, if you fire Aaron Glenn now, would be even worse than it already is. You can't fire a franchise legend 6 years into his first year, as bad as it is. You can't. Give him the year. If you fire him after the year, if they're 1-16, if they're 2-15, people will understand. They watched this game yesterday. They understand. People are very aware how bad Glenn has been so far. They are. But if you fire him now, you allow Sean Payton and Dan Campbell and all these established coaches to come out and rip the Jets publicly, and you make it that much harder to get a legit candidate to want this job. See, if you're just terrible and you have the first pick in the draft, though, with this O-line, Garrett, Mason Taylor, some of the pieces they still have on defense, cap space, pick of any quarterback, you could sell this job to an experienced candidate that would want it. Stefanski, if he's available. Harbaugh, if he's available. McCarthy is available. Flores is available. Gruden is available. Whoever. It's a harder sell if you fire Glenn, because then it's Woody Johnson firing a coach in season 2 straight years. Who wants to work for that guy? That's the perception. Even though we know Woody would actually be justified if he fired Glenn. That's how bad it has been. I understand those saying that. I get it. You just can't. You got to give Glenn the year. And I think out of respect to Aaron Glenn, who is a Jet legend, he gets the year. You can't fire a coach in season. What's the point? Not going to make things better. There's no one on this team there's no assistant coach on the team that deserves the opportunity to be a head coach. Some of us thought Ulbrich could do it, right? He was inept. He couldn't do it. You want Steve Wilkes to be the interim again? Like, just get through the year with Aaron Glenn. Give him the year. Hope he turns it around. If he doesn't, we'll have the hard conversation about one and dunning him, Gerard Mayo style, if necessary. I hope it doesn't come to that, but you got to give him the year. The perception of the organization is horrific. And those saying, I can't get any worse, believe me, don't do anything that could potentially hurt your ability to hire a good candidate this offseason. All right, as bad as it is, we could get through 11 more games of this. We can. Because it's not going to get better if you fired Glenn now. You get your pound of flesh, and then what? You embarrass a franchise legend on the way out? Really? I don't think Aaron Glenn's a good head coach, but I know he's not a bad human being. I don't want to embarrass the guy. I feel bad for him in a way. I don't think he realized what he was getting into. I think the pressure and everything that comes with being the coach of this team, it has now engulfed him. And we'll see if he can get out of it. I don't know. I can't sit here and tell you he will. I don't think he will. I got to be honest. I can't lie to you guys. It's better for my show if the Jets don't suck and I'm optimistic. I can't lie, though. But I don't want to embarrass him. The perception of the organization, it's hurt if you fire him now. It doesn't make any sense to do that. It's 6 games in. Right? And unless they have a couple more games like what we just saw, or like there's players that are like rioting outside the Jet facility, right? If it got to that level, or like what happened with Hackett in Denver a few years ago, or Urban Meyer with the Jacksonville Jaguars, where like it just became so untenable, you have to make a change. Fine, but we're not there yet. As bad as this is, we are 6 games in, and while Glenn has not been good, I think embarrassing him now only hurts your ability in January to potentially hire a qualified coach. Oh, but Jake, people will still take this job. It's one of 32. That's true. You could find a coach. Houston hired David Culley for a year, right? You could someone will be the head coach. I get it. But if you want a chance at someone actually good, don't hurt your chances of doing it by firing Aaron Glenn on October 14th. That's dumb. Give him the year. He deserves the year. He doesn't deserve the second year automatically. Hopefully he earns it, but you got to give him the year. Question from LTO. Do you think the Jets defense has finally figured it out, or is the Denver game an anomaly? Until they do it back-to-back games, tough to say they figured it out. I was very encouraged by what we saw. I think they tackled better, which is great. I think Jermaine being back is clearly a big factor in this. He is a leader. He sets the edge. He plays with intensity. He plays with passion. I think Brownlee has proven to be a really good acquisition. I'm excited to see what he could do. That looks like a good trade by Muji. Give him credit. We got to see more, though. Man with a rake, super chat. He says, you cannot give Fields the ball to pass 4th and 8 with the game on the line. The kid Connor from middle school needs to mentor AG. Connor Long for Jets head coach. Spencer Green says, get Gary on. Well, he's not on hold. Peter in the raffle for 1. Thank you, Peter. You're in. For those who tuned in late, and I see we have still 540 people watching live. End of the show today, we're giving away 3 prizes. You still can enter during the show. Bart Scott signed jersey, Sauce Gardner signed jersey, and a Justin Fields signed jersey. I know people are dying for that. More of your calls before we wrap. If you're on hold, I promise we are going to get to you. Stay with me. Green Gang is next. Hello, Green Gang.
Hey, Jake. What's going on, my guy?
What's up, Green Gang?
How you doing today, bro?
I'm hanging in.
Hanging in there.
Doing my best.
Yeah. I just want to say it's just been real frustrating. The year we had, but I don't think Engstrand has really done bad, especially not last game. I know everybody want to get on him about that, but if he's scheming guys open and the quarterback is just not throwing it to him, like I can't blame the offensive coordinator for that. I mean, I can blame him for not calling plays for that made Justin feel comfortable to run. And they were run blitzing. Denver was run blitzing a lot. It's like even when they were in the shotgun and Breece had to pick up the ball and he got like 7 yards. It was like off a broken play, he still got 7 yards. It's like, come on, man, run the ball. I mean,
they run the ball 3 times and kick a field goal there. They might win.
Say it again.
I said if they after that Breece play, if they had just decided, hey, we're only going to run the ball here and just settle for the longer field goal, they probably win the game based on what we've seen from Falk this year. Dropping back the pass and Fields taking the sack put them in that spot where they had the indecision on 4th and 8. Do they kick it from 62? Glenn thought it was 65 or 68 because he's clueless, or go for it. And like, I wonder why they went for it. The head coach in his mind is thinking it's from 65 or 68 yards. He has no clue.
Agreed. He's got to do something. Even at the half, it's like he looked so bad in that situation. Like I had people that not even Jet fans that just watch football and that was coming up to me and knowing that I'm a Jet fan. It's like what was going on at the end of the half, and it's like I had no answer for him. It's like I don't know, and it really didn't look good. But I don't know what Garrett was saying to Glenn. I don't think he was yelling at him. He was like, I think he was just frustrated. It's like we could have done something in the last 30 seconds of the damn half. Even Glenn came up with a fucking stupid ass excuse. But you got it. Doesn't matter if you're getting the ball. If you know you're getting the ball back, at least try to score. Don't just let the fucking time run out. Excuse me for my language. Don't let the time run out, man. It's like you're just giving up.
Coaching scared.
I don't want to give up on Glenn. I didn't want him to begin with, but he's here. Try to support him. Try to support his whole staff is a bunch of first timers, except for like what the wide receivers coach and I guess Wilkes are first timers in their positions, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is the risk when you hire a first-time coach. Are they able to handle being in the big seat? And I've said this for years now, and I emphasize this every single day. Once they fired Saleh, we knew that they were going to have a new coach this year. This is not a job for first-timers. I said the line over and over again. They chose to hire a first-timer. This is what happens when you hire a first-timer. Sometimes it works. Other times, you have Aaron Glenn, who's learning on the job, and it's been so bad so far. I don't know if the hole he's dug himself, he could get out of. That's how bad it is.
Like, even you said, like, if you're going to hire a first-timer, at least hire an offensive coach. I would have kind of felt better about that. But, like, you keep hiring defensive coach. Is like, what are you doing? I don't believe Glenn. Glenn can say whatever he wants about him being just a coach and not a defensive coach. You're not doing offense, like not when you're offense. Like that.
You get the fuck out. Green Gang, sorry, brother. Your internet was lagging there on the road. Good call, though. We got most of your points. Yeah, look, I didn't want any first-year coach. It wasn't being – people were like, oh, you never wanted Glenn. No. If you're going to say that, at least get my take accurate.
And I'll tell you right now, if you bring in a first-time coordinator, you can write it down. He'll be walking out the door again in 3 years.
Couldn't agree more. This job, no matter who they hire, is not a job for first-timers. You have to bring in someone that has already been successful in the league. Wasn't anti-Glenn. I tried to buy into Aaron Glenn because I'm a Jets fan. And this guy was a Jet and came in and said all the right things you want to hear. I'm not anti-Aaron Glenn. I was anti-putting Aaron Glenn in a spot where he had to be a first-year coach with this team, with this owner, with this franchise, with the playoff drought, with everything. That's what my concern was. By the way, a couple of people texted me this, and I haven't hung on the rim about it, but I'm going to right now. Where are the people? Hey, V-Man, no wonder why you don't call the show anymore. I'm looking at you. Where are the people that thought I was so out of line for saying I would trade our first-round pick for Mike Tomlin in a nanosecond? What do you think would be worth more right now for the Jets, Armand Membu or Mike Tomlin? Right? Do you remember that? Like, I might have to go pull those receipts, right? Because I'm petty, all right? I'm wearing my Robert Saleh Jets sweatshirt today. All right, Mr. Saleh was keeping receipts. All right, I'm wearing my my Robert Saleh inspired Jets hoodie today, as it's crap weather here in Manhattan. All right, where are the people that told me I was insane for suggesting that trading a first-round pick for Mike Tomlin was asinine? Do you realize how important coaching is? Do you realize? Look around the league right now. Look what Daniel Jones is doing. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield. Coaching. Yes, you need a quarterback, but you need a coach for said quarterback. Not everyone is a superhuman like Joe Burrow that could overcome a bad offensive line or poor coaching around him. Trevor Lawrence is 4-2. Justin Herbert couldn't win anything until Harbaugh got there. 4-2. Bo Nix, not great. He's 4-2. Coaching. And Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season. And some of you Jet fans, V-Man and others, you acted like I was saying something. You acted like I was trading a first-round pick for Adam Gase. Dude, Mike Tomlin is a phenomenal coach. All right, maybe it got stale in Pittsburgh as far as them getting to a Super Bowl. They're good every year. They have a chance. They have a chance every year. And now, guess what? with Aaron Rodgers, their ceiling has never been higher since Big Ben retired because Rodgers is playing good football right now. Like, where are these people? Oh, Mike Tomlin's a pine cone, according to V-Man. That's what he said. Thank you, Boomtown, for the receipt on that. Like, give me a break. Come on, man. Like, Aaron Glenn's the worst coach in football right now. He's the worst coach in the NFL. Mike Tomlin has never, ever won less than 8 games. Ever. And since they went to 17 games, he's not ever won less than 9 games. And look at his quarterbacks. You don't think Mike Tomlin would have been worth the number 7 pick of the draft? You don't think the Jets would have 3 wins right now, be 3-3 if Tomlin was coaching this team? Oh, but Jake, Fields is awful. Oh, you mean the guy that Tomlin was 4-2 with last year? What? Coaching, man. If you guys can't see that it all matters and that Aaron Glenn is inept and in over his head right now, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, my God. Where are these people? I even said I'd probably trade my entire draft last year to get a proven head coach, right? But the initial opinion I had was 7th pick for Mike Tomlin, straight up, do you do it? And I said, fuck yeah, you do it. Excuse my language. Yeah. You need a program builder. That's what Glenn's supposed to be. Here's the difference. Aaron Glenn is not that. Notice V-Man doesn't call in anymore because Aaron Rodgers is 4-1. And Mike Tomlin's going to win the division again. Please. Like, that's what I'm talking about, though, man. All these Jet fans who, like, the holier-than-now approach this offseason. We don't need Rodgers. We don't need Devontae. Oh, Mike Tomlin. Aaron Glenn said no to Rodgers, and Mike Tomlin couldn't wait to bring him in. Mike Tomlin said no to Justin Fields, who he benched at 4-2. Aaron Glenn couldn't wait to give him $30 million guaranteed. Come on, man. Come on. And I love you, V-Man, but, like, what are we doing? All right, few calls left, then we will get to this raffle. Hey, huge shout-out to our guy, Burkinator. Burkinator, have you started the private investigating into the owner? He is in the Asmaniac raffle for 10.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Crazy. Peter W. in the raffle for 1. Thank you. I mean, man, I really haven't gone off on that Tomlin take, but the more I think about it, the amount of heat I got from people in the chat about that, it's asinine. Next time there's a great coach available and we debate, should we trade our first-round pick? Trade the first-round pick if it's not the first overall pick and you don't need a quarterback. Like, we knew the Jets weren't going quarterback this offseason. We knew, right? We knew it was going to be either a tight end or a tackle. You don't think Mike Tomlin would have been more valuable than Armand Membo? By the way, Justin Fields last year was 4-2. What offensive line did he have in Pittsburgh that was so great? What offensive line does Aaron Rodgers have right now that's so great? We saw the Jets sack Rodgers 4 times week 1, and he overcame it. Give me a break, dude. Seriously. All right, the Steelers with Fields. This is from Buffalo Jet fan who had a great thread on this today. They ran play action 2 times the amount the Jets have. They threw passes to the flat 2.5 times the Jets are. They threw screen passes 3 times at the clip the Jets are. They ran Fields on design runs 1.5 times the clip the Jets are. They targeted receivers beyond 20 yards at least 1.5 times the clip the Jets are. Like, Mike Tomlin knew he had a limited quarterback, but he built an offense around that guy that at least took advantage of what Fields maybe can do a little better, and they were 4-2 with him. All right, he knew Fields was limited, but you know what? He went 4-2 with him. Why? Because that's coaching. That's the job of the head coach. That's what I'm talking about. Mike Tomlin would have pulled Justin Fields at halftime for Tyrod Taylor. And people said, well, Glenn's trying to model his style around Tomlin. Like, he can't do anything. Green Gang, who had a call earlier that was shut down by bad internet, he says, I'm paying it forward. 5 gifted memberships for the community. Oh, yeah, hit it.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Thank you, Green Gang. Let's see if I can get the memberships from Green Gang. Who got them? If you hear your name called, thank them. Jeffrey Chardon, MH, John, Joey, Chocolate Chip Scotchy, L Exid Illusions. Hey, V-Man, call in. Are you scared? Question mark. Maybe I made that last one up. All right. More of your calls before we wrap. We got 3 people left. We have Black Gypsy. We have Adam and Daniel in Mexico will be today's closer. Mr. Gypsy, you're next.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna start Fields this week, right? That's what Glenn is saying. He's gonna put him back out there. All right. So if you're Angstrom now, after seeing what happened last week, are we gonna run an option game this week, or are we gonna try and drop him back again this week? Because
without Garrett Wilson, if we don't see a clear effort to run design runs and utilize Fields as a pure runner this week more than we've seen in any game to this point, I don't think the Jets have a chance.
and another thing, not one screen in 3 games.
Not one.
Like
Not one target to Breece for the first time in his career on Sunday.
it's like Denver blitzed so much that the screen would have just that's all you could have basically did with the way Fields was playing. That's basically all I got. I just want to see option football this week or bench him because we got him to play option football. He can pass. Tomlin used him as best as he could. 1-step, 2-step drops balls out of his hands. Like he listened to Tomlin, I guess, because he played better. Like whatever's going on and whatever they're saying to him, I've never seen a quarterback so scared ever play a game. Like he literally looked like a deer in headlights. So like, this week, if Angstrom is good, because I shat on him for the last game, I want to see him play to the quarterback's strength. And if Fields cannot do it then we need to bench him. I think this is Fields' last game as a starting quarterback in the NFL. That's what I think is coming up this week. That's all I got.
If it is that horrific, I think you're left with no choice but to make that move. Well said, Black Gypsy. Like I think Fields gets a quarter. And if they look inept again on offense, you owe it to the team to make a move. There are 52 other guys in this roster that deserve to see competency if you can find it. And maybe Tyrod wouldn't come in and play well on Sunday. I don't know. I do know if you made the move to him at halftime or at any point in the 3rd or 4th quarter of this game in London, you win. You win. It's not me just saying that. Anyone with eyes is saying that. I mean, there's people around the league that were shocked how poorly coached that game was. Shocked. That. Not all losses are the same. That was a loss on the national stage that everyone in the NFL was watching. It's the first game of the day. Everyone is watching. And that's what this head coach did. That is so damaging. V-Man, where are you at?
Completely fell asleep and let himself get bitch slapped by them. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's about to tie Marvin Lewis. Most consecutive playoff losses. Let me finish, okay? Are you...
Here's more from V-Man on Mike Tomlin.
Constantly play down to competition. How the hell did he lose to Zach Wilson when Zach Wilson was fucking trash? Let me finish, okay? Are you...
And one more from V-Man's rant against me on Mike Tomlin.
Why do I want a coach whose fan base wants his head on a pike? Let me finish, okay? Are you...
I hope you're happy with Aaron Glenn, V-Man. You got what you wanted, baby. You got what you wanted.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it.
Adam is too cool is up next. Hello, Adam.
Hey, dude. Oh, my goodness. Did you see the game? My God. I feel bad for Aaron Glenn because I feel like he's a great player. Yeah, I think he knew what he was getting himself into, but the way that, the team is an extension of the coach. That's the reality. Justin Fields played very scared because Aaron Glenn is scared. And, I hear the press conferences, and it's not like that's a huge window into the soul of the coach, but I don't think he's getting a lot of support from Woody. I think that he knows how in deep doo-doo he is. And I think he's playing scared when it's all said and done. And as a result, Fields is playing scared. Like, you could totally get into Fields' face and say, after 5 seconds, if you haven't thrown the ball, launch it instead of getting sacked. It's kind of crazy to me. And now we're in this really tough conundrum where you go trade away talent and then you are basically forfeiting the season. So how are you supposed to ask Aaron Glenn to show improvement if you're already bailing on the second half of the season? So, and then also if he and Muji really do have the reins to the roster, are they going to actually trade away Breece, or are they going to try and preserve their jobs?
Right.
Right. It's a really huge. Frankly, Woody needs to step in and tell Glenn kind of how he feels if he hasn't already. I think he has. I think he's very displeased. That's kind of my thinking. But if he isn't, and he is patient with Glenn, then Glenn should say that. If it's truthful, Glenn should say, I know I'm a new coach. I made a series of huge coaching mistakes. Those are on me. Very embarrassing for the organization. I'll do better. But I'm really grateful that I have, a great, owner that trusts in me in the long-term vision of the program, and things will get better. And I'm learning just as much as others are, and to everyone to be patient, because there is improvement in certain areas if you look hard enough. And what we did on the defense, if we could repeat it for another week, that's a foundation that we can build on. Because right now there is no foundation. There hasn't been a single group that has been good in consecutive weeks. But if the defense can be good, ironically, of all, because we've been dumping on Wilkes this whole time, if that solidifies, then I think that is room for improvement. But if they go and they start like trading away people, then all bets are off on the second half. And then you think about Fields, this is like the worst case scenario right now, because Fields is regressing, not improving right now. And, it's demonstrating that he's not getting better. So you definitely can't trust him with a rookie quarterback if you can't get Fields, if you can't rehab Fields. And if you bench Fields, then there's no chance for rehab. What are you going to do? Show off how good you are with Tyrod Taylor as an indicator that you can grow a young quarterback instead of just.
But even if you
maintaining
bench
old one?
Fields, Adam, see, the only pushback I'd have is like, okay, we understood what you were doing with Fields. It was a lottery ticket, right?
Right.
We understood. I get it. You're betting on the upside. You take a chance. Fine. When it's clear it's not working in that game Sunday, you know what would show me you deserve the opportunity to oversee the development of the number one pick in the draft, a quarterback, right? Like the ability to coach, to recognize, hey, this guy doesn't have it. We got to win the game. Our job's to win the game. Pull the plug, get Tyrod in. Let's get our first win and go home. Like,
absolutely. I think it was
wouldn't say
anxiety.
competency. Like Mike Tomlin's not an offensive guy, but like, he has full control of the clock, the last 4 minutes of each half, where, to quote Aaron Glenn, that's where it's all on the head coach. Mike Tomlin's going to do that, for example. Harbaugh is going to do that, for example. Shanahan, these guys they have control. They understand what needs to be done to win games. Glenn has no clue. He had a
terrible game as a coach, and I think that I think in the end he knows everybody knows all the areas that he screwed up in, and just I think it was definitely fear of the moment. I think that it was just tight. This was not a blowout game where you can play loose and like, okay, have fun. Like, this was a tight game, butt clenching game, and he kind of wilted under the pressure in this game. Does that mean that's like he will never be a good coach again? No, but not necessarily. But I think that right now, like the way I'm looking at it, and I called it last week that the defense was going to get better because of the infusion of talent, and the talent that was coming in was going to make a difference. I nailed that last week. I'd like for it to improve and be the same deal next week. We'll see.
It's their only chance.
But with Garrett Wilson out, ironically, there's a unique opportunity now to actually assess the talent. When you had Garrett Wilson on there, you had no choice but to feed the beast. If he's out, now you have absolutely no choice but to evaluate the rest of the wide receivers. And I really hope that somebody will show up and really do more than 8 yards, because I think that's kind of important to the team, that there's somebody outside of Garrett. Now this forces the issue. The next 2 games to me are a wash. Screw the first half. The bye week couldn't come any sooner. And if we're 0-8 at the bye, fine. I actually think we shouldn't fire anybody at this point, even if it's 0-8. And I think that you just reset for the second half of the season. And that's now the ultimate grading test. You keep the coaches for the whole year. You can completely change them all out, with the first pick or second pick or whatever, if the record is really bad. But I don't think you bail on the coaches at this point. I think you see if the second half, if the bye week will provide enough of a reset. But I think you'll know where leadership stands based on the assets that are traded, before the deadline. Because if they really have bailed on the coaches, you'll see all the assets go. That's my thinking.
Well, the good call, Adam. The thing is, like, do I really want Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji like determining who should go when I'm not necessarily convinced they're deserving of being here after this year? Like, I don't know. If they're 0-8 at the bye, Woody Johnson's got to really reevaluate everything, dude. I don't care what you thought the Jets were going to be this year. You didn't think they were going to be 0-8. 0-8 at the bye week. Guys, you're on your way to one of the worst seasons in franchise history if you start 0-8. Nick Shine says, I'm angry and miserable. A signed jersey would cheer me up. Let's go Jets. I'll tell you what will cheer you up, Nick Shine. Tailgating on Sunday before the Jets attempt to play football. against the Panthers. We'll be with Tailgate Joe. You can buy your ticket on Tailgate Joe's website, or if you want the discount rate through Nick Shine and I, Nick's info is on the screen there. Looking forward to meeting a bunch of listeners. We'll have fun, I promise. The game itself, well, we know what happens. Although I will say the last group outing we did for a Jet home game was Houston last year on Halloween night, and they won. Ladies and gentlemen, today's closer is coming to us from Mexico. Daniel will close us out, and then we will raffle away the 3 signed Jets jerseys. So this is your last call to enter the weekly raffle coming up right after Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, a little staticky, but hopefully this works.
All right. First of all, I want to say that AG is not a coach to trust because at the start of the season, he was supposed to analyze the talent in the team, and he failed on the task. So let's raise a hand if you knew that the New York Jets was lacking on depth in the wide receiver room. Do we know that we were lacking also in the edge position? I mean, raise your hand if you knew that Bengals would be a pain in the ass if he was playing in the field. Everybody knew the lacks of the roster that the Jets have. So we're not seeing progress on the coaching, and now they're trying to convince us that the reboot will take years, and that is not true because, as you said before, there are examples like the Commanders, like the Patriots, all these teams that in 1 year has turned the thing around, and they're trying to get.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're shit.
The only thing shittier than the Jets might have been Daniel's internet. But I appreciate it, Daniel. Good attempt. I think we have an idea what you're saying. Some version of the Jets are really bad. Once again, I thought Tyson Rauch had the best tweet I saw today. He tweeted, it's October, a yearly tradition where Jet fans argue over the reasons why the team sucks. Honestly, well said, Dick Shine. That is a perfect call to be the closer, given the state of the Jets. God. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to spin the Wheel of Champions. Now, before we spin said Wheel of Champions, need a little more time to finish putting the names together. So, here's a short clip. When it's done playing, we spin the wheel 3 times to give out 3 signed Jets jerseys. If you want to enter, you have till this video is done. Otherwise, your entries will count for next week's weekly raffle. Here we go. 50 seconds. Then we spin the wheel.
I'm just like moving and grooving.
Get your football.
Oh, man,
Let's
Jay.
work on ball security. We cannot have any fumbles.
Ball security, Jay.
Yep. Secure your balls.
This is the ball.
If you hold it like that, it's going to get knocked out. Protect it.
Like this.
High and tight. Yep.
So this is my football right here going in the toilet.
What? No. Ball ball security, man. High and tight. That's why we keep losing. The whole point of this exercise is to manifest change. We're trying to get a win.
Scatterboo time.
Giants it's not scatterboo time. You just put the ball in the toilet. Flush your toilet. Let's go.
Is it going? It's not. Is it going down? Oh, damn it! Smell that toilet water?
Oh, good God, man! I'll tell you what. If the Jets do win, Sean, you're calling in every week and you're putting the football right back in the toilet. The Jets did win, but the Jets lost, I should say, but they did recover a fumble. So incremental progress, I suppose. Or as AG would say, moral victories.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
And here we go, folks. The Wheel of Champions is being spun. And Black Gypsy, since I like you, I will add your last second entry to get in there. All right. As you all could see, this is the full weekly entries from every show's daily raffle. If you win, You have to email me, asmanjake@gmail, your name and address, so I know where to send each of the prizes. The 3 prizes are as followed. 1, a signed Justin Fields jersey. Poor timing, I know. 2, a signed Sauce Gardner jersey. And 3, a signed Bart Scott Can't Wait Jets jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, time to spin the wheel. Good luck to everybody. But there can only be one winner. And that winner is, for prize number 1, the Fields jersey, Julius. What a prize. Justin Fields signed jersey. Who wouldn't want that right now? Julian, you are our first winner. Thank you for supporting the show. That's our guy, Julian Malfredo, who is winner number 1. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to remove Julian's entries. We're going to reshuffle the names because you only can win 1 prize per raffle. And now we are going to spin the Wheel of Champions again, this time for a signed Sauce Gardner jersey. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Spencer Green. How about it? Spencer Green, a loyal Jet fan, very loyal to Aaron Glenn, and the football gods reward him with a signed Sauce jersey. Spencer, congratulations. I'll get that sent out to you this week. All right, one last prize here. This personally is my favorite. It's a signed Bart Scott jersey, but it says Can't Wait on the signature, which is pretty cool. That winner is... Hold on, I don't know if I hit the shuffle button. That winner is... Fred! Hey! Now that's pretty awesome. We're going to have to figure out how to ship to Ethiopia. Wow. How about that? That is going to be interesting. We'll figure that out. We'll make it happen. Or not, it's not Ethiopia. I said the wrong country. But anyway, congrats, Fred. Well deserved. He is our final winner. He deserves it. He's an awesome, awesome dude. And he is your jersey winner of the Bart Scott jersey. I said Ethiopia, I meant Estonia. Estonia is where we will be shipping. Congrats. Let's give a jet chat to our 3 winners, ladies and gentlemen. Hit it. I don't know geography. I fully admit that. Estonia is where we're sending it, not Ethiopia. Slight difference. One's in East Africa and one is near Russia. But it's all the same when you win, baby. You get your prize. All right, I will work on that. I will announce some of our prizes for next week's weekly raffle during our second show today. Check back around 4:30 Eastern. We'll be live. We'll do the film review with Blow It. We'll talk more about the state of this team and a whole lot more. I want to thank everyone again who watched today's show. Thank you to Robby Sabo for joining us. Please hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I will talk to you guys soon. Jets, 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 Jets.
B-Mac, look at my new hat. B-Mac, I'm a Steelers fan now. Women hate my dude face. Now I'm such a fraud. I'd eat Rodgers' poop right from the source before he wipes.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.